Actually, no, we're live. Okay, cool. It started streaming from long while. We'll have to cut later. I welcome you all to the Auditorium Debate 2021-22. First, I would like to request everyone over here to switch on their cameras. And everyone in the panel, please switch on the cameras, please. Okay, so we'll begin with the auditorium debate. I'll start by introducing the panel. From the Okay, we have resumed streaming. I apologize for the delay. We had a small internet connection problem because of which we had to shift systems. Okay, we have moving like forward. I think the entire part about the candidate introduction we'll have to repeat it. So we'll go on with that. The candidates are requested to introduce themselves. They can take a minute or two. So we'll start with the candidate for the position of the president, Harsh Shukla.
Hi, am I audible?
They can take a minute or two. Yes, you are. We'll start with the candidate.
Cool. So, a very good evening to the people present here, respected GBM, members of the Election Commission, CRC, and the AMC. Firstly, I'd like to thank the Election Commission for giving me an opportunity to be here, and I'd like to commend them on organizing this election with utmost expertise and precision. So, to introduce myself, I am Harsh Shukla from the batch of 2019, standing for the post of President of the Student Union. Currently, I'm the person with the highest amount of union experience in campus. I have completed 8 out of 9 manifesto points in my first year and have gone on to accomplish more than 25 initiatives till now. I was able to implement the clear rate for the students to relieve stress during the second COVID wave. I got the PS division to reduce the PS fees by 11,000 rupees with an added option of payment in installments. I also got the tender for 400 whiteboards approved for SR Bhavan and started installation of the same. However, we had to come back home due to COVID before all the rooms could have a whiteboard. But now, as the rooms have been cleared, every room in SR Bhavan would have a whiteboard and numerous batches would benefit from it. Other than that, I have conducted the drunk service, installation of geysers in hostels, bus and taxi services, revisit classes, and many more initiatives to make the life of every Bitsian better on campus. Today, I stand before you as a common Bitsian, a Bitsian with a dream for his beloved college, a dream to see BITS as the top university in the country again, a dream to make an inclusive environment which focuses on expertise, not profiteering, a dream to empower the biggest stakeholders in campus, the people who actually pay for its functioning, the students. I stand for better student representation in every crucial decision. I stand so that our voices reach the highest echelons of power. I stand to bring back the glory to BITS Pilani. Currently, our lives hang in the balance as we wait helplessly for someone else to make a decision regarding reopening. The largest stakeholders with the most to lose have been denied any representation in administrative decisions. We have almost gotten used to thinking that our voices do not matter. I'm standing to topple this hierarchy. Our collective voices can bring real change, and we could achieve everything we hope for if we could just unite the union. And I will make that happen. So if I had to summarize my entire campaign in just one line, it would be power to the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsh. That was the candidate for the position of the president. Now I request the candidate for the position of the general secretary to present his case. Uh, Harsh Lamba, please go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to thank EC for conducting these elections and this audio debate in the smoothest way possible and in the timeliest way possible. The debate is already giving me campus feels due to all the BST. Thank you, panel. I, Harsh Lama, bearing ID number 2019 B3PS 0587P, am contesting for the position of General Secretary of BITS Pilani, Students' Union. To pitch myself in shortest way possible, I'd like to say that I have handled responsibilities of Students' Union in past tenure, which turned out pretty well. I've talked to students, I've heard their problems, and I have solved them too. I have past experience in SU and I know the work inside out. I want to continue working for students' welfare and to empower them. And that is why I contested for this position. I want to tell the GBM, do read my manifesto, analyze it very properly, analyze my past initiatives, and then only vote for me if you find me capable enough for representing your voices. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lamba and Shukla. We'll be referring to you as that throughout the debate at this point, moving forward. So when did you guys decide to contest for the election?
So if I may go first.
Go on.
So when I came to campus, it was my first week on campus, and a very peculiar incident happened. So I think if I remember correctly, there was a snake in room 205 in SR Bhavan, and the superintendent was there trying to get this student to not tell it to its parents. And then I started noticing numerous other problems which our hostels had, but people would just complain about them, and no one would do anything about it. So when the election commission gave out the nominations for a hostel representative, I filled in. I stood for the election, won the election in SR Bhavan, and completed 8 out of 9 manifesto points. Then I got nominated to the batch representative in acting council and completed 25 plus initiatives there as well. But at every point of time, there were some things that I just couldn't do, and in which I had to report to my president or to my general secretary, such as communication with the director or the vice chancellor or the higher echelons of power. And that is why I thought that I should stand for president, being the contestant with the highest experience in the union, with the highest number of initiatives here. So I believe I could do a lot better if I'm given a chance to be the president.
Thank you. Lamba, go ahead.
Previous year, around this time only, the fee notice was sent out for our online semester. It was around this time only. We were expecting less fees at that time. We were expecting a drop in fee, obviously due to COVID and due to online semester, due to shift in online semester. But tuition fees was same. It was similar. So it was. I found that very I found it very enraging. So I what I did was I talked to General Secretary of BITS Pilani, just General Secretary of BITS Pilani Student Union, who was then Mr. Abhishek Balaji. I called him. I told him, why is this happening? I asked him doubts. Why isn't Student Union doing anything regarding this? I talked to him. I had a talk for about an hour regarding this. I asked, what can we as GBM do for this? I told him what we are expecting from Student Union regarding this. In that talk, I was motivated by Balaji only. When I talked to him, I saw that what all responsibilities he's handling, how he's handling them very correctly. He's handling them very bureaucratically. Like he is taking problems from our sides. He's putting them in front of chief warden, maintaining the harmony. He's putting them in front of administration, and still he's trying to maintain harmony amongst the students. He's preventing any chaos. That was the time I thought I should join Students Union. And then only, and in the meantime, when I was a part of Student Union, I did a lot of initiatives. I talked to a lot of students, and it was in this tenure only. I cannot find out an exact time. I cannot point out at an exact time when this decision came to my mind. But I was very sure that I want to pursue this further, and I want to contest for a post. And due to I talked to Akash here too then Akash, who was the Gensec before Balaji Bhaiya, who was a major part of the fee hike protest. I talked to him too. I talked to Balaji Bhaiya too a lot, and then in the meantime, I decided that I'll go for this position. Thank you.
Okay, so which means that you guys have been deciding for a while that you would be contesting for the post of president and general secretary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet, why do we fight that your manifestos are something that you put together in the last 2 hours before nominations and submitted? I mean, going on this, like my question would be, do you know the number of points that have been repeated previously, like that you have repeated from previous manifestos?
I'd like to go first. So I don't think any point that I even looked at any other past manifesto while I was making my own manifesto. The process of making my manifesto was I called my camp around 40 people, which comprised of juniors, seniors, my own batches, people from every part of the campus. I sat with them and asked them what problems they faced on a daily basis. We just noted it down, provided innovative solutions for it, and that is my manifesto. So, if the problems that people are currently facing have been faced in the past as well and have been included in the manifesto as well, so that doesn't mean that a point has been copied. So, again, my manifesto has been formed through consultation with the entire batch, the representatives from all over the batches, and I feel it is a representation of what the students want.
Okay, go on, Lama.
I want to go now. My how I made my manifesto, I want to tell that. See, there were some problems which I knew students were facing from a lot of time. I had these problems in my mind. I talked to past Gensex, past presidents. I talked to the past representation of student union. I talked to my friends, a lot of friends. I talked to a lot of people. I gathered problems and then I tried finding solutions from them, and that's how I started initiating my manifesto points. Then I surely read other manifestos. I did went through, because when I was like while making my manifesto, I did talk to Akash Bhaiya, and while talking to him, I found out some more problems. Then I looked at his manifesto points. I asked him, ki, why were these, like there were some points which weren't completed. I asked him, ki, what happened? What exactly happened? Why couldn't you pursue these points? Then I found ki, there's a possibility that these are really great points. We have to pursue them. And if like some amount of struggle has been done to implement those points, and if we take them up further, they'll yield very good results. So after detailed discussions with everyone, with my batchmates, with some juniors, with some seniors, with some alumni, I found out these points, I found out these problems, and I found some very good solutions from them. So that's how I made my manifesto.
Okay, so you have identified problems according to you, and you have presented, so, like you have come up with innovative solutions that we'll be discussing in the due course of this debate. But here is what we have. You have like 10 and 9 manifesto points respectively, and the EC actually went through previous manifestos for you to see the number of times these points have been repeated. And if you had actually bothered to go through old manifestos, maybe we would be able to have a more constructive discussion over here regarding why these manifesto points have previously failed. So this is Shukla's manifesto points where point 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9 have been previously mentioned like repeatedly. And here we have Lamba's manifesto points where point 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 had been mentioned repeatedly.
I would like to stop you right there. I think you're a little wrong in your analysis. Could you go back to my points? I would like to tackle each one of them separately. So the point one
so
is specific to COVID-19, and I do not think COVID-19 was there in Satyansh's rise time. So I think
Shukla,
you should have analyzed better.
Wait, listen, Harsh.
Yeah, we'll go manifesto point by point, and there, if you have anything like to say, it can be said. We'll be bringing, obviously, like we'll be bringing up this like then also, but this is just an overview that we are presenting, and like if any otherwise, we'll tell it. Okay, so like fine. So like this is what we found with like the manifestos, which literally seems like you guys have bothered to take up points from here and there and made a last minute manifesto. But moving forward, let's go with the main thing that everybody's been really concerned about, which is campus reopening. So this is a proof that was presented to us by Lamba and Shukla. So these are actually mails from the chief warden. If the GBM wishes, we can present the entire mail. But since they were a compilation of the different points, we have taken relevant points and like presented it at relevant positions. So yeah, here we have the chief warden who's replied with something with by saying that it's a good idea to introduce a dedicated team of students. And for Shukla, with respect to all of his points, the chief warden, in his opinion, finds that they are feasible. But let's examine them a little further. So regarding so when it comes to your manifesto points, one of the first things that we see is collaboration with hospitals for a clinic. And in particular, we have you sent us the Apollo Clinic uh, document as a proof, right?
That is correct.
Yes. Have you spoken to the Apollo Clinic people?
Yes, I had a call with a person from the telemedic facility of Apollo, and we have spoken to them, and they have thought that this point is feasible, that a teleclinic could be applied on campus, could be brought to campus.
Okay. So the GBM, the EC would like to present something at this point. So these are the proofs that we received from Satyansh Rai 2 years ago regarding his manifesto points, where we have the basic thing of Apollo Tele Health Facility Center being set up, which we received this particular PDF. And when we go through this PDF, Shukla, isn't this pretty much the same PDF that you sent us this morning?
Yes, as per our call with the telemedic health services, they said that they have talked to the previous president as well, and they have the proposal ready, and they had forwarded me the proposal that I sent to you this morning.
Okay. So they, according to Satyansh's review at the end of the year, it was said that there was reluctance from the institute side to set up the private for the privatization of healthcare facilities on campus.
So again,
And
I have
since
shown
it's
you
the
the mail
same
in which the
proposal,
chief warden says that he thinks that the points is feasible.
yeah.
And
So
it is the need of the hour. So the reluctance might have been in Satyansh's time, but right now it is the need of the hour, and it has to be done. There's no other way about it.
But are you sure the institute will still compromise on the privatization part? Wouldn't they try to expand MedC facilities?
So what I am thinking about is we can divide the medical facilities into two parts. First is a short-term solution so that we could get back to campus and live our campus lives as soon as possible, as soon as safely possible. And then there is the long-term solution, which is under the Project Parivartan. MedC could be renovated and it could take 5 or 6 years. But we need a short-term solution, and short-term solution is providing teleclinics on campus. And it is the need of the hour. Probably the administration wasn't so keen about it back then, but right now with the student pressure, with COVID-19, it is a need and it would be done.
Yes, Mr. Shukla. So, on the basis of the document they sent, the proposal via Apollo. So, the last line of the document says that BITS management is requested to consider funding 22 lakh 60. Wait, I'm sorry, even more than that, to bridge the vitality gap to enable the project. So, have you had a conversation with the EMU or the institute, and are they willing to fund such a huge amount to
Not yet,
set up a
but
private clinic?
again, so how these things function is it isn't possible to convince them in a day or in a week. And moreover, currently I'm a private student. I'm not a president of the student union. I'm not at any administrative post that I have leverage to negotiate with the administration. That's why I have brought a preliminary proof that the administration is open to discussion. And when in my tenure, the discussion would turn into MOUs and would turn into proposals, and finally we would come to a settlement.
So, as per your informal discussion with the chief warden, he seems open to this.
It wasn't an informal discussion per se. It was a formal discussion regarding my manifesto point, something that I would be pursuing for the next 1 year with him. And he and the dean of the Students' Welfare Division the associate dean, they both agreed and they were both open to the idea.
Yes. Was the huge cost mentioned in these discussions that
Yes,
you had
yes.
with?
The proposal has been presented to them 2 years back
Because
as well.
I can't see it in the email that you sent it to
So
us as proof.
again, we had most of the conversation on the call, and then they said that send us a brief overview of your manifesto, and we will just write that it is feasible and we are open to discussion and reply to it. So
So
again,
the
I
brief
know where you're coming
overview
from.
could not
I
have
know,
did
yeah.
not yeah. So the brief overview. So the cost was not considered essential enough to make it to the brief of the conversation that you had with him. Is that what it takes?
I understand where you're coming from. I understand that it's your job to make sure that every proof I provide is correct. But I would like to tell you how the administration functions in these things. So sometimes they have a problem with writing everything down, knowing that it may get viral and it may be used out of context and they could get in trouble for it. So they prefer to talk on the call and not mention the things on paper. But again, through my call, they have assured me that they are fully open to the idea, and there is no two ways about it. COVID-19 is a real thing. We need to get to campus as soon as possible, and this is the only solution. The administration is open to it. It hasn't been in the past, I know, but now it is, because it also sees that it is the need of the hour and it needs to be implemented right now.
So, okay, so as far as it comes to the GVM, I kindly note that we have received a certain proposal from Shah, but we do not have proof whether he's presented it to the administration or not. What is being presented to the administration is right now displayed in like the screen before you, which is a mail that discusses these things, and the chief warden just mentions that they are feasible. However, the issues regarding the monetary aspects and the logistics have not yet been discussed like in detail. Um, and this is what the conversation that is had in with respect to the administration agreeing. Now, with respect to the actual logistics that you're planning to implement, can you give us some numbers or like otherwise, especially in terms of like, and this is a question to both of you. You both have suggested implementing a CRT team. What is the team going to do? And in case of an outbreak, what is going to be its response?
So
And
what I have presented is not the formation of a different CRT team. We already have a campus reopening team, which consists of the director, the vice chancellor, and a few professors from each campus. What I have talked about is increasing student representation. Right now, there is no student representation, and students are the people who have most to lose. It can be the last 4 years of the students' life that they get to be on campus, then they get to get on with their jobs and their lives, and this is a part that needs to be conserved. So we are the ones that have the most to lose, and we need to have representation in the campus reopening team, and that is what I've pushed for. I have pushed for student representation in major crucial decision making bodies, including the campus reopening team. So there wouldn't be a separate campus reopening team of students that would just face the logistical issues of talking to the administration, getting scenes on the usual. So I prefer that the current campus reopening team, which has the power to decide when the campus reopens and how it reopens, it should have some student representation in a decision making power as well.
okay, so Lamba,
You've
what is the
also
CRT that you
mentioned.
Yeah, go on, Sabir.
Ari, were you saying something?
Okay, so Shukla told that the CRT team he plans on adding students. Lamba, is the CRT team you propose the same or a different one?
No, it's a different one. So now I'll tell you what happens practically. Whenever we are talking about reopening campuses, what we do is, what we have done in our tenure is, we just we call chief warden, we get on meets with chief warden, associate dean SWD Srikanta Rotra, and then they convey the same information to director further. Now what happens is, whenever we get on a meet with, like whenever we have gotten on meets with chief warden and associate dean, they just present to us a number of problems, that these are the problems in reopening of campuses. They are very open to the solution. They just say that they're very open to getting solutions of these problems from students, and they want us to give solutions for them. We can easily give solutions for these problems, but what happens is कि अब जैसे let's say we were going through this process, we were noting down the problems, we were working on the solution, but what happened is clear grade came in between, PS1 thing came in between. So what happens ki जब भी SU को whenever SU has to give the solutions, something like we have other prior issues too. So what I propose is a dedicated student team which will work under student union. We'll have some number of people who will talk to chief warden very regularly, who will just note down the problems ki what problems are chief warden and associate dean of SWD giving to us. They give to us the problems which director and the CRT which is currently there give to them, so that we can accelerate campus reopening. Jitni jaldi they'll give us the problems, we'll present them the solutions, we'll present them with a better SOP. They'll not have any counter to us. They cannot counter us with their illogical and unfeasible accusations and illogical explanations. They cannot counter us. This is what I am proposing, that a number of students will be brainstorming on how to get the campus reopened, how to even after campus reopening, how to help the students who are affected from COVID, how to transfer them from college to
So this
hospital,
team is
or
basically to facilitate a discussion, basically.
no, not only to facilitate a discussion, but to brainstorm on SOPs, to brainstorm on the procedure, and to initiate the procedure.
Okay, so you guys actually go on.
Yeah, no, Ari, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So, Mr. Shukla, I'd like to focus upon your second point, that is about the vaccination camp. So, first of all, you're assuring the chief warden by yourself that every student would be vaccinated at least once by the end of next month. That really, I don't see how you can give this assurance by yourself to the chief warden. And the second point is that you propose that we'll have a vaccination camp on campus. A vaccination camp was really conducted on campus by the INSTI last month or even this month, if I'm not mistaken. So, where is your role in all of this? Neither can you give this assurance, neither are you proposing anything novel via these
So,
via
all
this
right, yeah,
vaccination camp.
that's a very good question. Thank you. So the thing where I mentioned vaccination camp. So the vaccination camp is because most of the students who have taken Covishield, their second vaccination date is in October or in November. So what we are thinking of in accelerating campus reopening, and we plan to call students back on campus before that. So we should have a facility to vaccinate students on campus as well. Right now, the vaccination camp that happened in the was just for the faculty, and it was happening on a very small level. We would improve the vaccination camp. We would require permissions from the campus. We have gotten permissions from the campus administration. Infrastructure exists so that we can vaccinate all the students who need a vaccination when they're back on campus. If you could repeat the second part of the question, I didn't get that.
Right. So it's not novel, no. So the INSTI conducted a camp in the past, and I'm sure that they plan to conduct one in the future since they only done one in the past. So where is it that you come in all of this? Have you talked to some hospital? Because I think the institute conducted one with the help of Vedanta. I might be mistaken.
So I think it's a good thing that the institute has already conducted a vaccination camp on campus, because we have infrastructure, prior infrastructure, which we may use to vaccinate the students when they come back to campus as well. It's a very simple thing that if a student has a vaccination date which is post the reopening date, he should get a chance to get vaccinated on campus, because I am proposing a bio bubble where the student wouldn't be allowed to go out of campus to get vaccinated. So there should be a vaccination camp in campus. It's a very simple thing.
Right, and have you thought about how many students will be called back at once, and what if someone tests positive? What
so
would be
I think all of these have been
that?
mentioned in the SOP given by the administration as well, and there has been a think tank in the CRT as well, which is constantly working on the SOP and how many students would be called, at what time they'll be called, what phase-wise reopening would be followed. So all this, I think we can work further upon once we are in power, and once we get students to the campus reopening team as well. Then we could have a much more productive discussion than just assuming or just I really do not have the internal information of the campus reopening team, and that is what I plan to change, so that the students have information of what the administration is thinking right now.
So from what I take it, you essentially have nothing to add to the institute's plan. You Right.
That is that is just oversimplifying as was expected from the panel. But still, I would reiterate it for you that every student should get a chance to get vaccinated on campus if its vaccination date is post the reopening date. We would open a vaccination camp so that the problem of students getting COVID on campus, the probability reduces by a lot. And I think it's a good initiative. So, yeah.
Whom have you talked to for establishing this vaccination camp?
So again, we have the infrastructure as the camp has been implemented in the past as well. We have talked to the chief warden, as you can see in the mail.
Hold on. I think we just
I had
agreed.
mentioned the entire. What?
1 second. I just think a few minutes ago we just agreed that the infrastructure existing was only for the profs, and we need to increase it for like so many students could get vaccinated. Can you elaborate on that? Like,
Again, so
infrastructure
right now we're discussing the feasibility of the initiative. So what I'm saying is I'm giving you precedent that a vaccination camp was organized on campus on a smaller level. What the union would do is help them organize it on a larger level, and it shouldn't be a problem because I just give you a precedent that it has been organized in the past, therefore it could be organized in the future just on a much larger scale.
So we have a question about the much larger scale. How are you
Also,
making it?
I would like to mention that in the past as well, the chief warden has officially stated that BITS would be the first private college to bulk buy vaccines. I think we have mentioned it numerous times in the ACGBM meets as well, and I think the English Press Club has also published an article including this. So when the chief warden is so excited about bulk buying vaccines and mass vaccinating the students, I don't think it should be a problem for our side. We would do everything we can to accelerate this process, to aid the chief warden in this process, and the union would do everything it can to get every student vaccinated on campus.
Okay, so the GBM can take note of that this is what the candidates say, while we do not have proof actually on any of it. The proofs have been already presented to you regarding this. Lamba, about the provisions that you plan on providing the students once they're on campus, can you elaborate on that?
So first of all, I told you that there'll be a campus reopening team of students who, along with Chief Warden, Associate Dean SWD, and representation of SU will decide what all measures will be taken exactly. Right now, what I'm planning is there should be sanitizer stand should be there from place to place. When you are going to classes, there should be a sanitizer stand outside the LTC. There should be a sanitizer stand in the NAP. There should be sanitizer stand near looters, these should be there. Secondly, masks. Masks should be readily available to everyone. Like we can make them available on the radies. We can make them available with the jockeys. We can make them available at different locations on campus. We can see how to how to inculcate all that and all the anti-COVID measures that should be taken for safe working of campus. The campus reopening team will be making an SOP कि अगर एक बच्चा बीमार हो जाता है, how will we make him reach to hospital with the use of an ambulance without other people getting infected, without other people getting in contact with that person. The campus reopening team will make an SOP कि कैसे उस बच्चे को सबसे अलग रख के खाना दिया जाए. How will the mess provide food to that person? The campus reopening team will ensure every point of this, and we will be in discussion with campus reopening team. Chief Warden will be in discussion with campus reopening team, and that is essentially what my team will do.
Okay, one last question and we'll conclude on this topic. So in case there's an increase in cases, not just like on campus, but like countrywide, are your measures still like sufficient?
Yes, I don't think a third wave would in any way stop the reopening processes because we have covered all bases. We have gone over vaccinations. We have gone over ambulances. We have gone over clinics with collaboration with clinics on campus. We have been able to tackle the problem of medical facilities, both short term and long term, on campus. We many of us, and I'm very hopeful that we would all be in campus very soon.
I would like to mention that once the second dose of vaccination is done, I don't think there are any more measures. see, after the second dose of vaccination, even frontline workers are doing their job. We obviously, as youth, have more immunity than them. What we are proposing it, like even after that, we are proposing a safe SOP for coming back to campus, for living at campus, for attending classes at campus, and still, if anyone gets symptoms, we are presenting a team which will work on an SOP to get them excluded safely. It will get them into quarantine very safely. So I don't think there is any need of like worrying about that whether we'll return to campus or not. Similarly, I am very hopeful that if all these measures happen, if we have a campus opening, if we have proper planning on this, we will be able to open campuses very soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we get the point. Yeah, let's
Cool.
go ahead.
So yeah, the GBM is required to note like all that the candidates have said, including their assumptions and deeper logic. But let's move forward to the next this particular point regarding the Mediclaim policy. So I think the GBM got this mail a few months ago, where it specifically mentions that in case of COVID cases, there is a assured sum of 50,000. And then we get a mail proof from Lamba, of course, which says that the medical policy will be extended to COVID, does not cover COVID cases, and will be extended again. Is there something wrong between the two mails? Like, what's happening?
I'll tell you what happened. Wait, is my voice getting distorted? Arhi can. So wait, I'll tell you what happened. A student approached me. His father had COVID conditions. He had COVID conditions, and he wanted some help from institute on this. I went to SWD Associate Dean Shrikanta Rotsure sir. I told him that the student is in desperate need of money right now. His financial conditions are not really well, and we should help him. The institute should help him somehow. His father was admitted in hospital. He मतलब उसको भी he had COVID himself. ये दो conditions थी, and when I told Shrikanta sir about this, he told me कि we will help him, and he asked me the contact details of the said person. When I contacted Shrikanta sir again on this, he said कि COVID cases are not covered. Family COVID cases are not covered, and even the person who is affected, his COVID cases are not covered under this policy, and that's why I have specifically mentioned in this mail. Like you can see, it is sent to Shrikanta Rotsure sir, and he is saying that it is a good point. It seems to be feasible. अगर वो मिल रहा होती, पहले से facility होती students के पास, why would he have said it is a good point? He would have been saying कि this point is already there. So a basic logic is that it is not there. And when I talked to Shrikanta Rotsure sir, what can we do on this?
Mail? Like, I'm assuming you had seen the mail as well that was sent out to the GBM regarding this.
So, like, have you tried getting a student in contact with SWD for that?
Hey, I'm just clarifying.
I'm not saying that
you're saying the mail is wrong.
I'm not commenting on that mail. I'm just saying that when I tried to connect a student with SWD on getting his fair share of financial help from institute, they couldn't help him. The Mediclaim policy couldn't help him, and that's why I have put in this point. And I have talked to Rotsure sir on this. How exactly will this work out? The SWD will be having discussion with student union on this topic, and then the SWD will be having a discussion with this Aditya Birla company on the same topic. How can they extend this Mediclaim policy? Some amount of money will be some extra amount of money. 50 to 100 rupees will be charged from all the students, and then this Mediclaim policy will be extended to cover COVID cases too. And everyone who has had COVID will be able to get able to get financial help from the institution. This is what will be happening.
Okay, so the GBM again is requested to note that we previously received this mail which covers COVID cases, but according to Lamba, it didn't cover COVID cases. So now he discussed again to cover COVID cases. A discussion whose details we take, there's only Lamba's word for, because in the mail here we have Mediclaim policy extended to COVID cases.
According to me and according to Rotsure sir, who's associated.
Rotsure sir in this mail just said it's a good point to the words that it says Mediclaim policy and insurance, and like it doesn't
not cover COVID cases. Mediclaim policy which does not cover COVID cases should cover COVID cases. This is what I have written. I propose an extension of covering COVID cases too, and Shrikanta Rothroy sir have mentioned it very clearly that it is a good point. It seems to be feasible, and we should do this. We should try to cover COVID cases too. This is what this mail states.
Okay, for an already covered COVID case, but
Okay.
moving on. So regarding practice school reforms, Shukla, there is no proof that you presented exactly regarding this. Can you tell the GBM how you'll be achieving any of this?
Sure, thank you for the question. I wanted you to address the lack of proof, as I've been addressing for the past 2 years, that our mails have been scene zoned by every single person in the administration. Our voices have been muffled. Even the voice of a presidential candidate to a member of the SU, which has been in the SU for 2 years, even my mail was scene zoned. I tried calling them, they didn't pick up. I tried asking them for proof regarding anything, including like having students in the PS division, or reducing fees, or
Okay,
PS
all right. So
unlinking.
how are you going to deal with this once you become the presidency? Because you also say that
Again,
you've been in the SU for 2 years.
I have precedent for it, that the PS division was adamant that it would not reduce the fees. Instead, it hiked the fees from last year, even in online, and I was able to reduce the fees by 11,000 rupees back then, and I would be able to do it again. So
Mr. Shukla, if you're not aware, the
I talked to
PS fees was also reduced for the 2018 batch.
talked about major problems that people are facing, and one of the problems was, why is the PSP so high? We are getting free interns. The companies are getting the best minds of the country for free. Why are we being charged 70,000 rupees? Is a legitimate question that I've asked in my manifesto.
Shukla, I would request you to listen to the panel's question before interrupting again and again. So
I think he was interrupting. I was speaking something, but okay, I understand your point. I try to listen. Yeah.
All right.
You were saying something?
I'll just repeat the point, and it said that the PS fee was also reduced for the 2018 batch. So that is
Correct,
something
yeah, by the SU's efforts.
Exactly. So you present it in such a way that makes people believe that this is the first time this initiative has been taken care of. So
I don't think so. I've never mentioned
I
that.
think in the sense, what they're trying to get to is that even the last SU, they were able to reduce the fee, but they were still not able to get such a reform done, even though they might have wanted to. So what sets you apart? That's what we were asking.
That is the correct question. I am understanding where you're coming from, that the last SU wasn't able to do it because it wasn't pitched by the last SU. The last SU didn't have it in its manifesto that they would unlink PS, or they would reduce PS expenses. I have it in my manifesto, and I would work for it since the beginning, from the beginning of my tenure. And as proof, I have precedent that the union that you're talking about that did it for last year, I was a part of it as well. I worked for it as well. I wrote numerous mails. I wrote numerous documents. I united the students of the 2018 batch with my seniors, Ujjwal and Saksham Bhaiya as well. So the last union that you're mentioning, I was a part of it as well. So I know how that functions.
Okay, so basically you are telling that, okay, the 10K was reduced. That still was not a significant reduce in terms of the PSVA. B, how do we believe that you still won't be scene zoned, or like PS1, PS2 won't be unlinked? Because if we look from the point of the institute, listen, I'll complete it. If we look from the point of the institute, reducing 10K was a compromise that was not that huge. But what you're promising here is you will get a proper breakdown of PS expenses and unlink PS1 and PS2, which is a huge according to the institute and cannot be treated as the same thing as reducing 10K from the fees.
I understand, and that is why I'm standing for president, to increase student representation and to increase the students' say in campus decisions. We are, as students, as the biggest stakeholders on campus, should have a right to question the PSD administration. Why is the fee 70,000, or why was the fee hiked even in an online semester? What expenses do you have to show for it? We, the students, have a right to ask that question, and that is the question that would be asked. This is the fight that would be fought, and the PSP would be reduced, PS1 and PS2 would be unlinked, as is required by the students.
Okay, so I again request the GBM to take a note that while the candidate over here said that what he's going to do is he's going to put forth these questions in front of PSD, his manifesto point states that it will be unlinked and it will be reduced and there will be a proper breakdown, instead of telling that a request to unlink, a request to reduce, and a request for a proper breakdown would be present. Is that right?
So that may seem that way to you or an external person from the union, but working in the union for more than 2 years, firstly, we present a proposal to the administration. We write a humble mail that this is the problem that the student body is facing, and further documents are sent. Student pressure is applied through mass mails. The institute is leveraged into attesting to the student demands, to accepting the student demands, and this is the chain of order that is followed in every SU activity, and that would be followed here as well. So as I said, I have past initiatives to show for it. I have gotten the PSV reduced last year as well. I spearheaded it. I also worked for PSV reduction in the 2018 batch as well. So I know how to deal with the PSD administration. I have built good relationships with the people in the administration there as well. And I think I would be able to convince them to make it happen. And the GBM, I think, has trust in me to make it happen. And I would leave it up to them to analyze the proofs and to make their own decisions.
If you have so much rapport with them, why wasn't any proof presented over here?
As I said, it is a general
according
thing
to
among
you,
all the administration.
According to you, they scene zoned you. So where is all this rapport and scene zone? Doesn't make sense.
I told you, it's precedent that I have been scene zoned in the past, yet I was able to reduce PSVs twice. So this is a normal channel that firstly they scene zone us, then we submit a dog, then we apply student pressure. And if I am the president with the power of 500 students, united students behind me, I think I can achieve everything that I hope to achieve.
Sabya, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, we can continue. I mean, there's absolutely no proof, so I don't see how we can go on with this. What all we have are Mr. Shukla's words that he put pressure.
Thank you.
Yes, precedent, fine. I mean, precedent that you were seen zone. If you can call that precedent, it's up to the GBM.
I'm not calling scene zoning a precedent. I'm calling reducing PSVs twice in 2 years a precedent.
All of these discussions are getting redundant. Let's move on to the next point now. Yeah. Lamba, you had talked about the alumni student mentorship program. So this is already being implemented by the BITSA. So what are you bringing to the table here?
How exactly is it being implemented? Is there any mentor? Do you have any mentor? Do anyone in my batch have any mentor? Does anyone in 2020 batch or any senior has any mentors right now?
Has BITSA reached out to you?
No.
So
okay, how do you expect BITSA to reach out to you? What channel do you expect them to take?
Wait. I myself went to BITSA's website. I have that website open right now. I made my profile there. I read about AMP first of all, I put this point. After that, I got to know about AMP. I opened AMP website. I looked at the form which was there to be filled to get a mentor. I clicked on that form. That form said, what is your year of graduation? 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017. And it was a mandatory question. It is only for, right now, it is only for graduated students, and it is for connecting recently graduated alumni to past alumni. And no student in my knowing has any alumni mentor right now.
Okay, so coming to students, do you know the students who actually handle the alumni relationship from
SARC, Student Alumni Relations.
Yes, and have you spoken to anyone from there?
Yes, I spoke to Yash Thakkar, who's the coordinator of SARC. I talked to him 3-4 days back after I had put this point alumni student mentorship program in my manifesto. After that, I talked to him. I had a conversation with him. He told me that this thing, after my manifesto point, he told me that this thing is in pipeline, and maybe they'll he cannot give me the exact details when they are planning to launch this, how they are planning to launch this, what all portals are they making, what progress is done till now. He didn't told me anything regarding that. He just told me that this is in pipeline. We will be doing this in future. A lot of times, administration has also told us that reopening is in pipeline. I don't see any steps being taken regarding that. There are a lot of things which are in pipeline right now, which are not happening.
So only because he was not excited to give you a timeline, you said that okay, fine, I'll start the initiative myself.
I'll not see what I'll be doing now. You wouldn't ask me how exactly I'll be pursuing this initiative in my tenure. How exactly I'll be pursuing this is I'll first of all, because now I know that student alumni relations cell is planning on something. I'll just humbly go to them. I'll have a meet with student alumni relations cell, which I know they won't deny. I'll have a meet with the team. I'll ask them what exactly they are planning, what timeline they are planning. Do they need me? How I'll make sure the initiative will get will this initiative get a success or not? Wait for me to finish.
Yes, fine, complete.
Okay, for the GBM, okay, we'll just for the GBM. There was this particular. It's like Harsh put the point on his manifesto, and after that, EC happened to receive a particular mail which goes exactly like this, which is from the alumni relations cell, the SARC namely. And they specifically mentioned that they have an objection against the SU candidates, citing this as it conflicts with their work. And SU must not be involved in alumni matters as they have no mandate in this particular area as it already exists. So this very collaboration that Lamba spoke about a few minutes ago, basically we have evidence from the SARC that they are not enthusiastic for such a collaboration, and neither had Shukla bothered to speak to the people who actually already talked to alumni. And instead, Lamba. I'm so sorry, Lamba. Lamba, speak to the people who actually go ahead with. Lamba, speak to the people who actually handle alumni relationships on campus and just put it on his manifesto, without consulting anybody.
And so, more importantly, right now, Harsh just said that I'll ask them whether they need me, how do they need me. They've just said that they don't need you. Now what will you do?
They have said this to you, first of all. When I talked to Yash Thakkar, he didn't mention this to me, first point. Second point, while you were saying, you should have first asked me, did I have a talk to anyone else? I hadn't completed my sentence. I talked to Rajiv Sakuja sir, who's Associate Dean of Alumni Relations Cell. I talked to Arya Kumar sir, who's the Dean of Alumni Relations Cell. I had a talk with them. They did not want to get involved in elections. That's why they cannot give me a written proof on this. But when I talked to them, when I presented them my initiative, they were very enthusiastic about it. They liked the initiative a lot, and they were saying, we are in favor कि अगर ऐसा कुछ हो, they'll be supporting students. They'll be allowing us to contact with alumni.
So from your end, we have two things. Oh, no, I thought I'll interrupt for a second if that's fine.
Cool.
So you said that when you spoke to Yash Thakkar, he did not mention any of this to you, right?
No.
So, and then later on, he comes and gives us this mail. In a similar manner, you are telling us that you spoke to these professors who seemed very enthusiastic about it. So, tomorrow we know, ऐसा ही mail आ जाएगा हमारे पास.
Let the mandate decide. Let the students wait. I want to speak. Let the students decide that. I don't know what kind of agenda is being run right now. Let the students decide कि actually हो क्या रहा है. I have told my point. Let them take me on my face value. कि मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ या झूठ बोल रहा हूँ. Let them decide. You are no one to decide. I am no one to decide. SARC is no one to decide कि ये initiative हो भी सकता है नहीं हो सकता है. We are no one to know कि will SARC be able to do this or not. Secondly, I did not complete my point when RA interrupted me. Firstly, I'll go to SARC. I'll ask them ki, is there how can we help you to make their initiative better? Now we have seen in past there have been a lot of alumni talks. There have been a lot of alumni talks which do not get attendance, which gets really low attendances. I'm not sure if they'll be able to manage this or not, but I'm making this sure कि अगर उनसे भी manage ना हुआ, if their initiative is not completed by them, I will form a team. I will form a team of students for which I have taken permission of Chief Warden for forming a team of students. I will form this team. I will contact alumni. I will find the interested alumni. I will connect them with the students who are interested in taking this mentorship. I will do that. This is what I am very confident about.
Okay, so you're saying that in case if they're not able to do this, then you will take it upon yourself and then you will work independently.
I will take it upon SU and the SU will surely pursue this. Like the PMP was done, an ASMP will also be formed.
Okay, but my question basically was, dude, so you're standing with for the student union, etc. And these students in the ARC clearly have better experience than you on what to do with alumni and how to do it with them. especially regarding mentorship, etc. You didn't bother to talk to them. Instead, you directly listen. Let me complete. Instead, you directly go talk to the profs. And these profs, I'm telling you, even if I went and talked and sir, मुझे alumni mentorship program करना है, they'll say हाँ खुशी खुशी कर लो, मतलब अगर तुम कर सकते हो तो कर लो. Actual people who will have to work is the ARC, and these people clearly don't want to talk, collaborate with you. And this mail might be 2 to 3 days ago, but I confirmed with them again. Did you talk to them? To which they said yes, we have talked, but we in no way plan on collaborating. So what? So A, before you stood, what were you thinking when you just made up this point? And why? And B, even if you say that you are going to do all of this yourself, why would you waste so much resources? And there is already a team working on the same.
I'll mention that. First of all, you told me that they have better relations with alumni. They know how to contact alumni. I have SU has better relation with students. I know how to contact students. Alumni collect कर लिया तुमने, अगर student लेने के लिए तैयार नहीं mentorship. If they are not able to contact students, how will they find out the mentees? They find out the
saying ARC can't contact students. Is that what you're saying?
So are you saying that SU cannot contact alumni? That's what you stated, na? That they are better in contacting alumni. In contacting alumni, I am better in contacting students.
I said, why would you waste resources?
I'm not wasting resources. But that's what I'm stating, na. I'll wait for them. I'll wait कि उनका initiative success होता है नहीं होता है. AMP has been announced a success 2 or 3 months ago on Bitsa International Instagram channel. You can check that right now. Open Bitsa International. Roll down the post. There's a yellow post which states Bitsa AMP as a success. I don't see a single mentor. I don't see a single student mentor right now. Single student mentee who's being mentored by alumni. What I got was, I will work on this. I will make it very sure. I'm very confident that I will get students connected with alumni for the same. This is my point. This is what I
see. So they spoke to you 3 to 4 days ago. Did you find out why this is not existing? Did you find out why exactly the AMP has been in the state that you claim it is?
See, I talked to him. मैंने आपको बता दिया कि मैंने मेरी उससे क्या बात हुई. I talked to him. He told me that this is already in pipeline, and उसने बोल दिया कि it is already in pipeline. We won't be we happy to have meets with you. No worries on that. But we will be taking this up. This is our initiative for right now. I told him very specifically, no worries. We don't want SU's name in this initiative. It is not the matter. अगर तुम्हें कोई भी हेल्प चाहिए होगी, तुमसे पोर्टल नहीं बन रहा होगा, तुमसे स्टूडेंट्स कंटैक्ट नहीं हो रही, we'll be helping you out to make this initiative a success for you. But if it doesn't turn out a success, I myself will initiate it. I didn't tell them straight face कि अगर तुम्हारा initiative काम नहीं करेगा तो मैं अपना initiative बनाऊंगा. But I wasn't expecting this कि they'll just mail EC कि we are not interested in working with SU. So if they won't be interested in working in SU, and if they fail, I'll start my ASMP. Similar to PMP, I know PMP is a great success. I am very sure that ASMP will be a great success too.
Okay, so the GVM is required to note that the candidate did not have prior research on who does this or whose mandate it is in, and now claims to come up with an entire plan to make that plan a success, despite people who already have experience in it, going forward with this particular initiative. But yes, GBM has probably heard both sides and can decide for themselves.
GBM will decide on their own. They are the mandate. We are not decide.
Yes. Moving forward, can someone else from the panel take this?
Yeah, I think this has been a point that has come up again and again. So starting out, I think you submitted a proposal as well, right? There was a proposal attached with it that went over the cost, right? So can you tell us what is the cost proposed per month?
3,000 rupees. For
3,200?
Yeah, around.
Per month per bike.
Correct.
Yeah. So the yearly cost will come out to be something like 38 lakhs, right? Or maybe lesser because there are breaks. So I'm not sure how to work out.
Sure.
So do you think, so in case, one of the first questions is, in case the utilization of these bikes that is not up to the mark, right? Then who will bear the difference? Because as we can see, the agreement seems to be between SU and the company, and then SU is again, letting these bikes out to the students.
Right? Sure. So I have done my research on this, and if the bikes, we are proposing to buy 10% bikes first. So first they'll run a pilot program with 100 bikes, then we'll raise it to 400 bikes. And to just break clear, we would just need students to use the bicycles around 8 hours a day. And I think it's a very, very achievable target, because if we are just buying 10% of the cycles, so having the cycles being used 8 hours a day is a very achievable process. Moreover, the reason I thought of this initiative, e-cycles, was because we waste cycles every year. Every year, a new batch comes in with 700 new cycles, and as they pass out, a lot of some of them get donated, but a lot of them just get discarded. It's just adding to the pollution. So what we'll do is we'll just install e-cycles, and we'll just install charging stations on campus with something as less as 10 rupees per hour. And if a student, if a cycle is being driven 8 hours a day, we are breaking even at the cost. I think it's a beautiful initiative. It will reduce pollution. It would increase the ease of transportation on campus.
I mean, but is there...
I,
Okay. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, thanks. So I think a lot of students face this problem, especially the Mira students. I think Aryahi Didi would agree that Mira is pretty far away from NAB, from library, from major campus amenities. And if such a service, such as the e-rickshaw shuttle service and the e-cycle service was implemented, it would be a great help to Mira residents as well as the other people on campus to stroll around campus in the cycle. It would reduce pollution as well. I think it's a win-win initiative, which I don't think there's any problem with.
Yes, Mr. Shukla, if I just understand it correctly, so these will be bicycles which run on electricity, which will then need to be charged at these charging stations, and then would people take them, like, so what would the rental be like? Would it be like a daily rental, hourly rental, or like for a month?
No, it would be an hourly rental. Let's say you want to go from SR to the NAB. So you pick your e-cycle from SR, take it for an hour on a stroll, or just take it for 10 minutes, park it on NAB charging station, go to your classes, come back with the same cycle. It's a pretty straightforward initiatives which we have researched well upon, which we have talked to the company for a very long time, which we have sorted out the logistics for. That even 8 hours drive per day would break even our cost, and it's a pioneering initiative.
So then these cycles would be present in every hostel. So like
we plan to have a pilot program with 100 cycles first. Then we need to increase it to 400 cycles. In front of every hostel, charging stations would be installed where the cycles would be parked. A student could just scan the QR code and take the cycle for a spin, and like just keep it back at any charging station he finds along the way.
Right. Can we move on to any screenshots we have from the previous president on this issue? Like, if we have any of those?
What did you ask? Could you repeat?
No, I'm asking them.
Yeah. So, Harsh, we talked to the previous president and we asked him, because he also had this e-cycles and e-rickshaw initiative in his portfolio, in his manifesto. And we asked him what problems that he had faced. And he had mentioned all these things that are present on the screen. And he's clearly mentioned that, there's no need on campus for such an initiative. And the model wasn't effective either. And even the INSTI was against it. So what do you have to say about that?
So I'll divide your question into three parts. Firstly, there's no need for it. I think the GBM can itself decide if there is a need to reduce pollution, if there is a need for better ease of transportation on campus, if there is a need for an e-cycle or an e-shuttle service from Mira to SR or from Mira to library or from one place to another, the GBM can think for themselves. The second part of your question is that if I can see on the screen, it's like local rickshaw walo ka problem, wo log protest वगैरह करते हैं. Market is very low for rickshaw in general. So do you think that we should pander to rickshawalas who just take $100 from the gate to SR Bhavan, or who quote any price they want from one place to another? What I am thinking of is just a shuttle service from around the campus, which would help students, as well as e-cycle service, which students could pay for themselves. And as the point is of space, I don't think e-cycle takes up much space. We already have cycles parked outside hostels. We already have cycles of alumni which have been discarded and have been kept around SAC and different hostels. We would reduce wastage. We have ample space, and I don't think any of these points would be a problem.
So what is the rental cost over here? Like, for example, if I
I
have to
just
use
told you
this
that
moment,
10 rupees an hour, 8 hours a day will be breaking even.
what did you say?
I just said 10 rupees an hour.
How is that going to break even with the 3,200 that you're going to pay? How many sales do you think are you going to achieve by this? Do you think that there's going to be such a significant
So we are not making
demand?
sales or profits from the students. We just want to give them a service, and we are just gonna break even. We're not gonna make any profits from it. And
Yeah.
moreover, we are just gonna take them on a rental level, which is 3,200 bucks. It's just a primary proposal. We can bring it down even more in further talks. Moreover, I think it's a very good initiative. It is affordable for the students at just 10, 12 rupees. They'll be able to get a cycle for an hour. It reduces pollution. It reduces the discarding of cycles after 4 years. And we have ample space. We have given you the proposal that everything is in order. We just need a signature. We have given you the consent from the institute. I think everything is in order, and I just need to get in power, and it will be implemented within the first 1 month we're in campus. There doesn't seem to be any problem with it.
Mr. Shukla, if I understand correctly, so you're again saying that you want to do this to reduce pollution, uh, right? So since you'll essentially be replacing bicycles, so I assume that the pollution that you're talking about is the waste cycles that get discarded after a person graduates, right?
Correct.
Fine. So to do that, you essentially want to ensure that no one buys a cycle on campus anymore.
Not
Right.
that. I just provide a service, which is that you can rent cycles as well, which is not currently in our campus. So if the student feels the need to buy a cycle, we do not stop him from buying a cycle. The students in that there is a renting service on campus would go for that instead of buying a cycle of their own, because need a cycle. It just stands in your stand. So why do you have to pay for the entire thing when you can just rent it whenever you need it?
So what students do in this case is they get a cycle from their wing, who lives just who so essentially so cycles you need it for 10% of the time. So there are a lot of cycles of friends lying around. So then if someone wants a cycle for a short time, they just get one from their wingy.
Is that all you can come up with, borrowing a cycle from Wingy? What's the problem with renting cycles and bringing e-cycles to campus? I cannot see anything. So if you have any point relevant to it, I'll be happy to hear it.
Yeah, the relevant point is that there's a lack of demand. That is it, right? Like even the previous president, after
I would let the GBM look over the demand. If there is a demand to reduce discarding cycles and adding pollution to it, if there is a demand for better transportation services on campus, if there is a demand for recycles on campus, I'd let the people decide.
Right. So I get what you're saying, but it seems to be like something. Let's do this, then we'll figure out if the demand is there. Like I think more thought needs to go into it because like you'll be spending a lot of money, even if it's a pilot run. Like I'm assuming you'll be spending some money, right? Like this money can't be spent in an unaccounted manner. So if there is a lot of precedent already that the ex-president is saying that it's not feasible or there's no demand, then maybe it's like instead of having the attitude that like okay, let's do it, we'll see, we should probably give that some weightage, don't you think so?
So, all right.
That's why we are asking you
I know
what you are thinking
that
differently.
the motive the election commission has upon bringing this point is just to ensure that I have thought it through, and that I'm not just making it up. But I have given you enough proof. I've given you a proposal. I've given you the entire logistics that everything could be done, and we could break even at just 10 rupees per hour. A student just has to pay 10 rupees per hour, which is like a rupee per 6 minutes or 2 rupees for 10 minutes around. He just has to pay 2 minutes to ride from SR to Mira. So I think it's a good initiative. We can break even easily. I have given you the proposal. It just needs a signature. And I think we're set. There shouldn't be a problem with it.
Dude, so you're saying students will be paying 10 rupees like for every hour, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And you would be breaking even. Instead, why not just have like cycles that you buy for 4K and then set it up for rentals and why have cycles in particular? Or e-bikes in particular?
I thought over it, and there were logistical problems that if I buy cycles, then I would require a person to look over the cycles to note down who is taking the cycles. The thing with e-cycles is there is a QR code. A person just scans the QR code with his phone, and yeah, you're set. There is a charging station which has locks in it. this has been done in IIT Delhi and IISc Bangalore as well. So I think there are many startups like the one in which our proposal we have submitted to that are able to do this. So yeah, the thing you're saying, it's also a good idea, but again, there would have been logistical problems. That's why I went with e-cycles.
See, if it's like lock and like who's going to take it, basically the thing is that okay, so you wouldn't be you're expecting to break even slash make no profits out of it, right? So the initial 4,000 that you'd be like bringing up for the cycles is the only thing that you need to earn back per se. So like why don't you just add like IoT locks to existing cycles? Why have the entire charging station and pay 3,200 per month for per bike? It's not a one-time installment of 5K.
The point you have is why. Sure. The point you have is why not just normal cycles? Why e-cycles? That's it. No.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so why not normal cycles and why not e-cycles? Again, I said normal cycles have logistical issues. Now you're saying why not add IoT locks to cycles? Why not keep a person who will keep watch on those cycles the entire day? Why not? Like, that's a lot of logistical issues. We can sort all those logistical issues. If we look at pros and cons, we have much less cons with an e-cycle than we would have had with the logistics of a normal cycle, adding an IoT lock to it, adding a person to look after it, giving them different spaces to be, adding them to the SU
Are
app
you
or
saying all
another
this
app.
expenditure that is coming extra is like a small con compared to what you're stating for normal cycles?
I don't think 10 rupees per hour is an extra charge that I'm looking at.
So you're planning to break even with 10 rupees per
even lesser
hour?
than that. This is the current the 3,200 rupees per month is just the first offer. We would negotiate, we would bring it down, and it might go even lesser than that. And I would let the GBM decide if they want an e-cycle on campus, which would just take 2 rupees from them whenever they want to travel from SR to Looters.
Okay, that's with respect to e-cycles. Moving, like GBM can decide for themselves. The costs are presented to you, and you guys know what other things cost on campus. So yeah, that's up to you. And other alternatives that you have on campus, like your friend cycle. But moving forward, we have, I think, e-rickshaws. I think the screenshot on the left explains what were the problems that was faced with respect to e-rickshaws. What do you have as a reply?
So why would a person, a rickshawala who just has like one ride a day, deny having 20 or 30 rides a day if he is employed by the union? We are not planning on bringing someone else. We are just planning on employing these local rickshawala. We are planning on generating employment for them as well. So it's good for them that instead of just taking one ride a day and just making 60 or 100 bucks from it, you are in a shuttle service. You are running shuttles from one place to another 50 times a day. So I think it's a very good initiative for them, and they would appreciate it as well. And we have gotten permission from the BITS administration, from the chief warden, from the student welfare division, and it is implementable. We are generating employment, and we would be giving jobs these people only. So there is no problem of protest or anything like that.
Wait, so as I understand it, Mr. Shukla, you are proposing that the union themselves would employ these rickshawalas, right?
The union how the union function is, it gives out tenders to people. It never takes anything under its own. It never funds under anything under its own. So this service would also be through a tender, and it would be ensured that the people who are driving rickshaws inside campus and Pilani, they are given the employment of they are giving the tender of keeping the e-rickshaws. And I think we have a member from CRC as well who we can work out after being inducted into my tenure.
Wait, so now what you're saying is that you will tender to someone who will be running e-rickshaws on campus, and then you hope that the person who's running these e-rickshaws, the person tender, employs local rickshawalas and not
I don't think someone would bring someone from Delhi or Jaipur to run rickshaws in Pilani. It would be locals only. It's simple. So again, I understand where all of you are coming from, that
If
you
it is
need to
local
check
only,
whether
then
I
why
have thought
do-
it through. But again, I have thought it through. I have gained the permission from the administration as well. It is a good business model for the people who would be employed as well. The rickshawallahs would get additional employment. They would get additional money every day. So I don't think it is a win-win situation. There is no problem at all. But again, I am open to your concerns, and I'm open to addressing all of your concerns. Yeah.
Okay, if it's a win-win situation, I don't think the model changed within 2 years or something. I bet the same model was tried, like the ex-president would have tried to implement it, and he faced these like problems. So, are you sure that the model you're suggesting is like correct?
Yeah. Can you
Why would you
find
say
any
the
problem with
margin
it?
is very low in like for in e-rickshaws in Gen?
What
And
could you
company
repeat?
का loss hota hai.
Could you
Like
repeat?
it's the same model, same traffic, etc. that has been there like now and like previously. And previously we have this info that the market was very low and the company would like have a loss, which is why it was not implemented previously, while it was definitely a manifesto point. How did the model
Why a manifesto point was not implemented in previous administrations? I don't think that I am here to answer
I'm not
that
asking
question
why
of
it
why
wasn't.
the
I'm
previous.
asking what is different this time.
So what different is this time is I have it as my manifesto point. I have a will to make it happen. I have every single decision making body up for it. I have confirmation from the SWD and the chief warden. I think it is a good business model as well, and it benefits the GBM, which the people watching could decide for themselves. If e-rickshaw shuttle service on campus from which would take you from the LTC to Mira and back for your lunch, if it is useful or not, I'll let the GBM decide.
Okay, cool. I'll let the GBM decide. As for the cycle rental service from the alumni, I think Lamba, this was on your manifesto. We this was previously on police manifesto, a previous post holder, and what he basically said in his review was the repairing of the cycles took much longer, and like usually after summer vacations, etc. And instead of September, it was provided in February, which is apparently the logistical problem that he faced. How do you plan on overcoming this?
First of all, while I told you I read some manifestos, I didn't read police manifesto. I did not consult him on this. Secondly, repairing of cycles. This has been done previously. Chief Warden, while I was talking to Chief Warden, he told me that this has been done previously. We have seen that this has been done previously. Workers have been donated cycles. We have had a drive where cycles were put up on sale for people. The older cycles, they were repaired and they were put up on sale. This is what I'm planning. The cycles which are there, the alumni cycles which have been left on campus, which are just right now scrap, like they're on the roadsides, they're just taking up space, they're not looking very good, they're looking very bad on the roadsides. उनको collect करा जाएगा. We'll the repairable cycles जो repair हो सकती हैं, we'll take them, we'll repair those cycles and we'll use them for yearly cycle rental service. जो cycles repairable नहीं हैं, उनको we'll take those cycles, we'll sell them off, and that money will be used for repairing of other cycles. This is what will essentially happen. इसके लिए I have taken permission from Chief Warden. I have asked him and he has given the consent. He'll be handing over the cycles to AC. This consent has been given over phone, and he has also given the consent over the mail, which I have told you. Like, this is a good idea. This is a feasible idea, and it has been done in past. It has been done, and that's all I would say.
Okay, so the conversation that you had over the phone was like not presented to with the chief warden was not presented to us. Instead, the GBM is required to take a note of that. Instead, the chief warden merely said it's a good idea. Did not say that he himself is going to do anything or get anything done, but just take a note of that. Apart from that, coming to your My Bike initiative, you submitted as proofs that you talked to a person from My Bike, and there are you submitted to us the brochure which the GBM can have a look at. Apart from that, there was also a phone call. Like, we won't be playing the recording here entirely, but is there anything regarding the cost mentioned where there's a difference between the phone call and the cost mentioned in your manifesto? Like, is there a difference?
No. So when I called that, first of all, I'll make it very
It's a yes or no question. Is there a difference?
No. There was
your manifesto mentions 2 to 4 rupees, whereas the person mentioned 10.
No. There was a point when he said if we are using if we are using this on monthly pass basis, then the cost will reduce to 2.
Okay, but he said initially that on a daily basis, it is like a 10.
For lane, if it's a monthly pass basis, it will reduce to 2. That's what
When is
he
it a
said,
10 then?
2 to 4. And for a daily basis, it will be around 10. That's he said
fine,
around 10, not 10 exactly.
Okay, cool. The GBM is just required to take a note of that.
GBM can take
Cool, cool. Is there anything else that the panel has to say regarding this?
Yeah, I think we can move on to the next point, Adri.
Okay, so pre-booking facilities at eateries. So I think Shukla's manifesto point mentions that there is going to be delivery and pre-booking facility, but I think over here we say the chief warden telling that delivery is not such a good idea. They can pick it up directly from the respective uh, outlet. Cool. And I think the mail attached below is the one where he's talking to someone from Looters who's claimed that yes, they are open to the particular initiative. This is again an initiative that we have like repeatedly seen in the previous manifestos. Have you talked to any of them and found out why such and such was not why they could not implement?
So again, that's my point, that back then it was a luxury. Right now it's a need. We have to stop the crowding on eateries. When we get back to campus, crowding on eateries is going to be a major problem, as every one of you realize, and we need to cut through it so that students stay safe. For that, I think the hostel delivery initiative is a pioneering initiative and it is very needful. So the question that why wasn't it done before is because back then it was a luxury. Right now it's a need which needs to be implemented as soon as possible. Otherwise, crowding in eateries, it could build a possible hotspot. Moreover, I've talked to the student union technical team that they are capable of implementing it in the SU app, that you could just order from your app, you could track where the delivery is. I have talked to the vendor who says that he is okay with a delivery. He has the manpower for the delivery. He is okay with tracking and digitizing ordering. And it's good for his business as well, as more people would order online. So it's good. It's okay from the vendor side. It's okay from the administration side. It's okay from the technical side. I don't think
It's
there's
not
a problem.
Okay from the institute side. It's not okay
Yeah.
from
So
the
what you're
institute
talking
side.
about is the delivery service, in which the chief warden said that he doesn't think it's a good idea. But when we are on campus, I think it's the students' lives that are at stake, and the students need to make a decision whether crowding on campus is going to be a COVID-related issue or not. And I have provided a solution to cut through it. I have provided the logistics, and negotiations would be done with the chief warden and the administration. So honestly speaking, I think what he is thinking of is the problem that illicit substances may be traveling via the delivery service, and that is an unfounded concern that he has. And we will assure him that nothing of that sort would happen, and this initiative would be great for the students. It would help the students a lot while reducing the chance of COVID on campus.
You're just going to tell illicit substances nahi hoga and the chief warden is supposed to be convinced?
So how do you think a person traveling from Looters to SR is gonna smuggle illicit substances? Do you have any ideas for it?
The people who are not students aren't really frisked or anything at the gate. Like they can walk in. And
I'm talking about making campus into a bio bubble. So it's not about frisking at the gate. The campus would be a bio bubble. No one would be moving in or out of campus.
Okay, so now this is all on an assumption that the campus will be a bio bubble, and
it's not an assumption. It has been done in the past, and it will be done in the future, as was mentioned in the SOP, which was given by the administration. The administration pushes for a bio bubble.
As I understand, you believe that even the looter staff, for example, would be staying on campus and will not be staying outside.
Yes.
Where would they be staying?
I have precedent that all the mess workers were given lodgings on campus. Looters persons were given lodgings on campus when the first wave hit and campus was made into a bio bubble. There is precedent that it has been done before.
Was this a limit?
Because hostels were empty, no? Hostels were empty.
Just one person at a time. Yeah, sub. Yeah.
Again, so a limited number of people could be given lodgings on campus because hostels were empty. But now the campus will be fully open. Where would these people stay?
Correct.
If that is what
All
you're
right. So
proposing.
correct. So a lot of hostels will be empty as well right now. There are a lot of staff quarters empty as well. And the exact logistics, they would be figured out before the initiative is put in place. But currently, the idea of the initiative, which is to cut through crowding at campus eateries and to ensure that students stay safely inside their hostel rooms and get food delivery service, in which I have provided all the logistics. I have talked to the technical aspects. I've talked to the vendor as well. Everyone is agreed to it. The vendor is agreeing to giving uh, manpower as well for the initiative. So I don't think there's any problem, except for the fact that the chief warden has a few concerns about this, which we could negotiate, talk it out, and final logistics could be put in place. I don't think it should be infeasible at all.
You're telling an increase in manpower, and I'm assuming when the first wave the campus is made a biobubble, it was made with a very limited manpower. Obviously, it was not fully functional, and a lot of people were not on campus.
So
Do
my
you
point
think
by
the
mentioning that
administration
the
has space
biobubble
for?
has been made
Let me
before.
complete. Yeah, let me complete.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
not everybody who was like working or everybody who will be working when everyone is back on campus was like on campus back then. So now for like in future, when you're going to make campus a biobubble after supposedly all of us are going back, my question is that do you think institute has sufficient resources to house so many people, including the increased manpower that would be just for delivery, like the delivery boys as or girls or
So
the delivery people?
the
Yeah.
campus has provided the SOP, which mentions that it will be made into a bible. So it is the campus administration that has said that the campus has the facility to be made into a bible. Again, it has been done once; it will be done again, as is said by the administration. Moreover, the increase in manpower you're talking about, how many people do you think it would take to make a delivery per 30 minutes? Maximum 10. So I don't think a 10 increase in a manpower is a lot of thing to handle, right? So again, I would make my point clear that the institute has said that it could make itself into a biobubble again. The students need to cut through the crowds at eateries, therefore they need to order. I've sorted out the technical aspect. I've sorted out the aspect from the vendor side. Administration is up for it as well, with a small problem that they do not consent to delivery right now, which we'll have a negotiation later.
Okay, so um, GBM is required to take note of that. That the administration has not consented to delivery yet. And okay, so Lamba, you also had this point on your manifesto, right?
I did not have the delivery point because I did not have the delivery point. I had the
I meant the
ordering
pre-booking
point.
point. The pre-booking point, yes.
Yes, I had the pre-booking point. So,
What have you done regarding it?
So regarding the pre-booking point, I talked to Chief Warden sir, and he was very much he was very much interested because the faculty also have to order their foods and they have to wait in long queues while ordering from looters from these eateries. So what I proposed him, we'll make an app from which students can order food sitting in their hostels. Then they can go to eateries and collect them. What this will do basically is you will not have to wait on the eatery. You just have to go and collect your food and you can come back. During exams, this will help a lot because people want to eat, but they don't usually go to eateries because they don't have that much time to spare out. So how this will work is, uh, let's say I'm sitting in SR, I'll just order a burger on the app. The amount will be taken up either from Google Pay. This will start like this. This will start from Google Pay. We'll increase the extent of app to SWD IDs too in some days because I think that will be having some logistical issues in start. We'll increase the extent to SWD IDs too. I'll be ordering a burger from I'll be able to order a burger from SR. Then I know it will take, let's say, 20 minutes for looters to make that burger. I can go in that 20 minutes of time. I can go to the eatery, and then I can connect my order from there. Time and queues on that looter stand. You would have seen कि looters पे बहुत ज़्यादा लाइनें लग रही थी बीच में, and exam times में तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा हो जाती हैं.
Okay, I think we can move ahead from here now. Yeah, coming to the academic initiatives. So, yeah, Shukla, you've mentioned that you want to use a minor on robotics and PEP. How is PEP politics, economics, and finance?
That was a mistake from my side. I agree. It was supposed to be philosophy. I think I mentioned it, and the dean, I had called him, and he had mentioned as well that you've made a little typo there. So I apologize for it for them as well. And yeah, it was a typo.
Fine. Fine. And about the robotics minor, so
Yeah.
which departments are going to offer this?
So the Department of the CSIS and Electrical Department would collaborate to offer the robotics minor. PEP minor would be offered solely by the HS, the Humanities Department. And both of these minors have been offered before. The PEP minor has been offered before in BITS, and the robotics minor is being offered in the other two campuses. So we have precedent, we have the resources, and we have the confirmation from AUGSD to make it happen.
Yeah, wait, let me stop you there. So which department offers this at Hyderabad? You mentioned only...
I haven't checked.
So you haven't checked what is the curriculum,
PEP
what is the implementation, what are the requirements? No, I'm not talking about PEP. I'm talking about robotics. I'm talking about robotics. I'm not talking about PEP.
That I haven't checked. What exact department offers robotics?
Okay, so the mechanical department offers it over there. Fine. Over here, the mechanical department as well as the EEE department as well as the CSIS department is supposed to handle this. So now the main concern over here is that one of the CDCs, it requires a very niche background of the faculty, and there is no faculty to take that course right now. So how will you address that? This is as per one of the faculties who's a member of introducing this minor over here. So they have this problem. So how will you deal with that then?
So again,
faculty requirements not there.
Correct. I understand your question. So the thing is, if it could be offered in Hyderabad and Goa, it could be offered here. And last time in Akash Singh's time, who was Gen Sec in 2019, he offered the data science minor, which was being offered in Hyderabad and Goa, but not in Pilani. And that back then also, he was given an excuse that we do not have the niche facility or faculty with the niche background of data science. But it was happen. It did happen after his tenure. And again, I have precedent, I have permission, and I don't think I need anything else.
I really don't think that's correct, because there are teachers who have had backgrounds in machine learning as well as artificial intelligence as part of the campus for a very long time. So it is not correct that those people with those kind of background over here.
Back then, yeah. So okay, what I said, I did say that they didn't have
wait. Let me continue. So the course that I'm talking about over here is AI applications in robotics. Okay. So having a background in robotics is a separate thing. Having a background in AI is a separate thing, and having a background in other is a separate thing. So if the professors are saying that there is not a faculty over here, where are you going to get the faculty from?
We have gotten the approval from AUGSD. We'll look into the details later, whether the faculty which we have is appropriate.
The AUGSD says in this mail that the minors offering completely depends on respective departments, depending on availability of resources. Yeah, so where is the mandate of the departments? Where is the proof that the departments have approved of this?
So again, we as president, I would go to the departments, and it's not just about one department. A minor is usually a collaboration between two or more departments. So
but over here, you don't even know which departments are to be consulted, right?
You didn't ask which department has to be considered in Pilani. You asked what robotics department, Hyderabad, which department.
I had said, that over here, which department is going to offer it, and you didn't know.
You said which department offers robotics minor in Hyderabad. You can look over the recording.
Irrespective of that, how are you going to get the faculty? How are you going to get the faculty? You tell me that.
So again, we'll approach. So as you said, we'll approach the head of departments. We'll look at what resources the department needs. We'll talk to the AUGSD. We'll collaborate with these bodies. And again, as the minors have been going on for quite some time in the other two campuses, it can happen in this campus as well. For the PEP minor, we already have all the courses that are being offered in Goa and Hyderabad. We just need to club them together and sell it as a minor. For data science and AI as well, we have all the courses. We just need to club them together and form a minor, which is done by AUGSD, whose permission we have. So I am telling you, we have the resources and we have AUGSD's permission, and it will happen. And it has
the resources are not there. The department is saying that the resources are not there. You're saying that you will suddenly collaborate with the department and you'll be able to produce the faculty. Where are you going to get the faculty from?
So again, that is at a later stage where we collaborate and where we see what the problems occur at that level, and then we'll sort it out in collaboration with AUGSD and the specific department.
Okay, so let me come in here. A, you haven't gotten permission from AUGST. What Suresh Gupta sir is telling is, minors offering are completely on the respective departments. Please talk to them, even though he hasn't explicitly said that. So don't count it as a permission from AUGST.
So again,
Let me complete.
Sure, yeah, go on.
Okay. Then PEP was already there before, but it was removed. Have you bothered to find out why it was removed? Okay, that's like one question. Wait, I'll just complete everything. 3, now you're stating that, okay, even if everything else is sorted for the other minors, you as the president of SU, you're going to go to these respective departments, go to the HODs and tell, we need to introduce these minors. So now go recruit professors. And by putting this in the manifesto point, you're basically ensuring that, I will go, I will talk to the professor, I'll make sure that a professor is recruited with the relevant skills. And after that, this minor will be introduced. Is that what you're saying? That you're going to make
the point of recruiting a professor is nowhere in question. What I am saying is, a minor, there are a specific list of DELs and OPELs which you have to take. So you have to take certain compulsory disciplinary courses for the minor, and you have to take optional courses for the minor. And we have those courses already. We just need to club them together and make it into a minor, which is just
is just for PEP. That is just for PEP, not for robotics, AI,
Yeah, so AI and so Ishan's Bhaiya said that we do not have the required faculty. So do you think the BITS Pilani CS department doesn't have a faculty for AI and ML? Is that what you're alluding?
No, so are you saying that there is a faculty on AI who has a background in AI and robotics? That's what I'm asking.
No, so AI and robotics are different minors. I'm talking about AI and ML minor and different robotics minor.
So for robotics, so you agree that the feasibility issues there, right? You agree?
No, I do not.
Why not?
Because I would collaborate with the department. We'll look into it.
How will you collaborate? See, what background do you have in robotics? What competence do you have to tell the department that this is the right person to teach this course?
I won't be telling it. AUGSD would be telling it. We would just be collaborating with the AUGSD. So the whole thing behind this minor is we have the requisite courses, just as Hyderabad and Goa, just like Hyderabad and Goa are just clubbing them together. And if you have done these number of courses, they're giving you a minor, which would increase your employability, which would increase your credentials. And that is what I'm going for. If we have the requisite courses already, we'll just club them together and call it a minor. It's very simple.
Yeah, the only issue is that over here, you're mentioning that we'll collaborate with the AUGSD, we'll collaborate with them, but you cannot collaborate and get faculty when there is no faculty, right? How are you going to address that problem? That is the simple question we've been asking again and again.
BITS Pilani doesn't have faculty for PEP minor or for AI minor or for robotics minor.
I'm only talking about AI for robotics. Don't quote me out of context. That is not what I have said. I'm saying that over here for this particular minor which I'm talking about, I'm talking specifically about the robotics minor. When the department has said that...
Are you willing to issue a statement as a EC member that BITS Pilani does not have a professor who is who has the background to teach robotics? Is that what you are saying?
No, not robotics. AI applications in robotics. There is already a course on robotics. Do you know that?
Yeah, of course. That's why. So I'm not talking about clubbing AI and robotics. I'm talking about a robotics minor, and I'm talking about a different AI and ML minor. If you have gotten them.
Yeah. So again, no. So again, you didn't do your research. You don't know what are the CDCs of the robotics course. For this, one of the CDCs of the robotics course is AI applications in robotics. This is the particular field where there is no faculty.
You are quoting Hyderabad campus. So Hyderabad campus.
No, I'm quoting Pilani campus.
So right now, no minor exists in robotics. What are you quoting then?
Yeah, so I'm saying that other people have tried to introduce this, but the department has said that this is the problem. How are you going to address this? This is a simple question that we've been asking.
We have, out of 6 minors, the only thing you have is we do not have a course in AI and robotics. Are you thinking that this is the only course that a robotics minor can have? Hyderabad has this course.
Are you telling me that CDC form a minor without this course? Are you telling me, okay, 5 course hai, let's take light on it and let's just give minor degrees because
it's not about taking light. It's about having a minor within the resources that we already have, and it's a simple enough initiative.
It's not like that. You can't customize the minor. You can't customize the minor according to
I can't. AUGSD can. I'm just pushing for a minor in these three things. I'm pushing for a minor in PEP. I'm pushing for a minor in AIML. I'm pushing for a minor in robotics. I have had numerous conversations with the AUGSD as well. Before writing this mail also, I had a conversation with them, and he just said, all right, just write a mail to me, mention all this, and I'll reply to you giving consent. So AUGSD, it is okay with AUGSD as long as the departments have the resources. And I'm telling you, for the PEP minor and for the AI minor, departments have the resources. For robotics minor, it's just one course that is a problem, that is in Hyderabad and not here. So we can have some different course that can be included in the minor.
Shukla, did you talk to the department heads and did you find out whether they're
not yet?
No. What Ishan has done is he's spoken to the department heads to ask problem kya hai, and now listen to him. He's telling you.
So I have talked to AUGSD already, which manages all the department, and I've taken consent from them. And I would
they have not given you. They have not given. Yeah, exactly. They have not given you consent to introduce a robotics minor. They say first talk to the departments, which you very conveniently did not do.
Again, I would be doing it in my tenure. I would be talking to various departments and collaborations that would need for the minors to be introduced. And talking about the consent, AUGSD has given consent that we are okay with a minor as long as the department has resources. So for two, PEP and for data science, for AIML, there is no problem at all. The only problem that you're finding is that we do not have one course in one minor out of the three that I'm proposing. Is that it?
Okay, for example, we also have another issue. Yeah, Arihi, you can go ahead. Sorry.
We'll address PEP first. Okay? PEP, it was there before. It was removed. Why was it removed?
I don't think that is a question that should be asked to me. You should ask this to AUGSD chief or dean.
Basically, it could be removed for various reasons. Some of it could be that there just wasn't enough demand or something. So, why was it removed is something that you should have found out. If you're planning to reintroduce it.
I personally did 5 courses out of 6 that was in the PEP minor, and I would have gone for a minor if it would have been offered in Pilani. I think this is a problem that a lot of students face, that they have the requisite courses to pursue a minor in PEP, or they have the requisite courses to pursue a minor in something else, but again, they do not have the minor. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay,
I'm
so
trying
there was a
to
demand for
implement
the
a
minor.
so that
Okay,
the credentials can be increased by having a minor degree.
Okay, that I get it. So, according to you, there was a demand for the minor. There were courses for the minor. There are all resources for the minor. But the institute just decided, let's stop giving out this minor.
Again, you should redirect this question to the Dean AUGSD. Why were the minor taken back? Yeah.
So you planned on introducing this as a manifesto point without finding out why it was removed in the first case. But okay,
I couldn't find out why it was removed. It was removed a long time back, and it is still there in Hyderabad and Goa campuses. So if you are somewhere saying that Hyderabad and Goa have more demand for the minor than Pilani campus, I don't think that is possible.
No, I'm not speaking about the demand. I'm just telling that you do not know the reason why it was removed. Moving forward, next, robotics. No, the robotics minor comes. Ishan, go ahead.
Yeah, so again and again, we've been saying the same thing. Like, for example, if you have, okay, why don't we talk about the finance minor then? Can you have a finance minor without FundaFin? Can you have a finance minor without FinMan? Is it possible?
No, but robotics is a niche subject.
No, so is it going to remain? Is it going to remain? Is it going to remain?
All of robotics hinges on having AI. The whole robotics hinges on having you gave the example of FinMan, you gave the example of FundaFin and finance minor. No, FundaFin teaches you the basics of finance, which is required for every single course, further course. But do you think robotics and AI is such a crucial minor that robotics would stop functioning without AI?
See, that's the point. It is not for us to decide. It is the Senate that decides the curriculum, right? So if the Senate says that this is the curriculum, this is a CDC, so it is not negotiable. You cannot just say that I will chuck it out because it's not available over here.
I'm not saying that it will be implemented in a day. I'm saying that we would get talks started. We have talked to AUGSD. We'll talk to the respective departments. If we have the resources, we will make the minor happen, and we will give students a chance to increase their credentials. And I think that's all.
Okay, all of this is leading to a very circular discussion, because again and again you keep on quoting resources, and I keep on telling you that the department has said that it doesn't have resources. But okay, irrespective of that, we'll move ahead from this point now. About the exchange programs which you had mentioned. So who have you contacted about this?
I've contacted IPCD. I've contacted AUGSD. I have a prior research proposal to the director, which was given by a senior of mine, which is under consideration right now. These are the proofs that I have.
where is the IPCD's discussion on this?
So how this functions is most of it is just verbal conversation, because people in like the administration, they are not too keen in giving some everything in writing, because it may be used out of context. So I have talked to IPCD chief, and he was like, all right. Moreover, I think you are thinking that I'm going for foreign courses. I'm thinking IPCD does a pretty great job at bringing foreign exchanges. I'm talking about domestic exchange programs, that collaborations with IITs, NITs, IISc to promote programs in country.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So what you state is exchange programs. For the GVM, like exchange program is when students go from one campus to the other, and like and the students from the other campus come to ours. Whereas from the proof that he submitted, GBM is requested to take a note, but that with respect to everything, Suresh Gupta sir has said that collaborative research is feasible, which is pretty much like the thesis and like PS etc. that we go to.
It's not. He has also mentioned that students can form a part of collaboration and get to experience the work environment and culture of these colleges.
Yeah, it can get when people go abroad for thesis, they do like or go to other.
That is what we aim for. That we have an exchange program in place in which our students go to IITs, our students go to ISCs. In an exchange.
Listen, so that is like for research, which is basically like thesis, which one semester already hum karte hain. Okay, for which he's basically stated the existing rule, which already exists, state with the emphasis on hence collaborative research is feasible, which is his concluding line. Okay. Now, so now exchange programs, like you said you talked to IPCD, whereas here we have like the IPCD student coordinator who is saying who's been working on like trying to get these exchange programs for a while, but they say that they have like logistical problems and like other things because of which they have not been able to implement it yet.
Again, you're talking about IPCD, which is international exchanges. So let me tell you something. So the director has directed the IPCD to only approach.
Shukla, listen, in your point itself, you mentioned like bringing collaborating top colleges from our countries to provide exchange program for students. So you're not talking about foreign exchange. Like, let me just clarify this. Is it right?
Of course, I wrote that IPCD already works on foreign exchanges. I propose collaborating with top colleges from our country only to like IITs and IITs to provide exchange programs.
Okay, cool.
So have you found out the problem from the IPCD who has given problems in logistics with international exchange programs? I'm not talking about international exchanges. I'm talking about domestic exchanges.
Okay, cool. So have you tried to find out why that's not been implemented yet?
So again, there was no one in the past to take an initiative, and I have taken it, and it will be implemented in my tenure.
Okay. So with respect to exchange programs, this is the information that we get from students who have tried to introduce it in the past. A, they have a problem with mapping courses. That is, the institute strictly believes that the courses that are taken from that are like going to be taken in the other institute, like especially CDCs, etc., they won't be at the same standards or so as the bits according to the institute. So they are reluctant in sending people mostly because the grading will have to be done by that institute, and they do not feel that the grading would be done according to BIT standards as
so you know, right, that exchange programs are already in place with a few foreign universities.
Go on.
So how that happens is the research, the grades which are passed on to UGSD, and UGSD maintains the progress of the student in an exchange, and that would be done in a domestic exchange as well. It's not much different from IPCD, because IPCD just does it from for foreign exchanges. Moreover, I wanted to point this out that I have gained insight from a member in the student IPCD team that the director has said that only the universities under QS ranking 400 have to be considered for foreign exchanges. So this is the problem that they face, logistical problems that they face in bringing more foreign exchanges.
There is also a problem regarding the fees.
I'm talking about domestic exchanges where we would be having exchanges with IITs, NITs, IISc, and other top universities in the country.
Okay, so you're talking about all of that, but like bringing back to the discussion and the proof that we have, it says that collaborative research is possible, whereas an exchange of where people are going and doing another course elsewhere is like not explicitly stated and cannot be concluded from the very sentence that Suresh Gupta wrote. Is that cool? and
Sure, but
everything that you
I
plan
think
to
you'll
propose?
have to take me at face value that we have had major conversations regarding this, and AUGSD is okay with it.
Okay, the GBM can take note of that. Moving.
Just a
Yeah.
question, Arya, out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harsh, so which are the other colleges in your pipeline currently that you're planning to?
What?
Which are the colleges in your pipeline currently? The IITs and
So
NITs you're mentioning. Anything you
again,
have
the
planned
logistics have
currently?
to be worked out. It's an idea. It's a preliminary idea at this point. So logistics of what exactly, which exact IITs, NITs, or which exact colleges, a student team would be formed, such as IPCD, just for domestic exchanges, and that in collaboration with AUGSD and the specific departments would work out which colleges are best or which fit the mold the best.
So as of now, there isn't anyone in your pipeline currently.
Not yet.
All right.
Coming to research journal, basically when we asked for proof, you presented us this, which is a research journal from BITS, roughly like from 2008. So, do you have any reasons as to why this research journal did not continue?
Sure. I have talked to GS Chauhan, which is the head of the publications unit of BITS, who was back then in the board of editors of the journal Curie. So back then it was mismanagement, and they weren't getting as many responses, as many quality responses back then. That's why they discontinued it. But if you could just summarize it, I think it was lack of management or mismanagement of the journal.
And how do you plan on solving that now?
So again, a journal, a
Especially
research journal. Yeah.
given that like this has to be taken care by profs and not students. Agreed? Like submissions can be by students, but the editorial board and the management, etc.,
The
publishing,
editorial
etc.,
board would have students as well who said that the students couldn't form a part of the publication.
are students qualified enough to form a part of a publication that is supposed to be contributing to H rankings, indices, etc.?
Students wouldn't be editors or like posts such as these, but students would have collaboration in the journal as well. There are a lot of
their papers.
peer-reviewed journals who are run by students. So I don't think that this could be a problem. Moreover, I'm talking about the editors. The editorial board would consist of senior professors with years of expertise. Students would also form a part of the logistical team and help in gaining quality research papers from the people. And I think it would be a success because BITS needs a boost in its H rankings, H indices and rankings. And I have precedent that Journal Curie, this journal was published in 2008, the Journal for Cooperation Among University Research and Industrial Enterprises. So it could be done again. We have precedent. We have. So I'll present by tomorrow. I'll present a mail from the publications unit chief as well, confirming to the feasibility of the initiative. I just talked to him today. I had mailed him a few days back, and he was like that he's out of station for now. He'll reply by tomorrow. So by tomorrow, I would be sending Election Commission a proof of feasibility of restarting or republishing the Journal Curie.
Okay, so are you aware of? Okay, GBM is required to take a note of that, while any proof has not been presented to us yet. But regarding like research journal, etc., do you know of like any students who might have tried establishing the same on campus previously? Like by previously, I mean in the last 5 years.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so for Apogee we have our paper event, and the department who conducts it, PEP, has been trying to establish a journal since then. And we talked to them and tried to find out the problem. So the first problem that they had was apparently you do not have professors or people who are ready to take up to be in the editorial board.
So again, I have precedent for that. Journal Curie had
Journal Curie was 8 years ago, Baba. I'm talking about in the last 5 years. This is what they are saying.
Sure. Again, so we would collaborate with AUGSD, and I am telling you that I'll give you the proof of feasibility by tomorrow from the publications chief, who was in the editorial board of this journal as well, and is right now the head of publications of anything that BITS publishes. He would give a message of feasibility that this is feasible to be run again.
Okay, as Sabya just said, you also have precedent that the journal was shut down. But okay, so now you're saying that we'll have an editorial team now. Do you know about the submissions or like who would like to submit to this journal? Because we have a concern that if it's just starting out, if someone has a really good like paper that is going to increase rankings as such, why would they publish in this journal? Wouldn't they just go for a better journal?
So again, a journal isn't great from day one. we would ensure. So my thinking behind improving research culture through journal publishing was, if a student writes a journal, if he writes a journal entry, let's say if I write a good research paper, I can go to various high ranking journals, but it's possible that my paper wouldn't be published there. But if it is just a bit specific journal, there is chance that if I write a good enough paper, it would be published in bits journal as well. So that is the thing, that people would be encouraged to pursue research and academics and to write research papers, in the hopes that it's easier for them to publish it in a bit specific journal than in a journal which takes entries worldwide.
So you're telling me that this paper, let's say we have an X paper, it'll be rejected by a renowned journal, but now since after getting rejected, you can come publish it in the BITS journal. Is that what you're telling? In this case, what's the quality of the
So
journal?
no,
If
so
only
if you have a
rejected
good
papers are
quality
coming.
paper, as good as quality as can be expected by an undergraduate student, and you go to a journal which receives papers from various scientists working in the field for 40 plus years, and your paper gets rejected because you people have had much better experiences and much better papers, that your efforts need to go waste, and you do not have to have an opportunity to publish it somewhere else just because it has been rejected by the top journal which had entries from various academics and scientists. So what I am trying to do is increase the research culture at BITS by republishing this journal, where students in BITS could give in an entry, and the editor board could decide if the entry is good enough to be published. And if it is, which I'm sure that a lot of bright minds in the college would give some pretty interesting entries, and if it is approved, it would be published in the journal.
Yeah, no, Mr. Shukla. If I take it, so you want to start this journal to improve the culture on campus, no, the research culture on
What?
campus. So you want to publish this paper, this journal, because you want to improve the research culture on campus. But
Yes.
essentially, what you're suggesting is that this journal would be subpar in quality, and that it would only have papers which could not be published in better journals. No. So how is
Uh,
that? How is
I,
that
I,
in any
I
way
don't.
improving the research culture? Rather,
I think
you're just
I
giving
think the way
an
that you mentioned
opportunity.
that the paper submitted by Bitsians would be subpar is condescending. But again, I think Bitsians have like we do not have a research culture at Bits because a lot of students are afraid that even if they write a good research paper, it wouldn't get published and they wouldn't get credit for it. And that is what I'm trying to change. That if you, I promise to each one of Bitsians that if you write a good enough research paper, if you want to go into academics, if you want to go into research, if you want to pursue this field, if you write a good enough research paper, it will get published. And that is all I'm trying to achieve.
No, again, so Mr. Shukla. So if you want to improve the research culture on campus, wouldn't it be better if you try and improve the quality of the paper in the first place, rather than giving an outlet for students to get published when they cannot because their paper does not
Again, if you
follow
are
the
questioning the
standards.
quality of the journal, we will have a board of editors, and experienced board of editors for that. Moreover, what I'm trying to do is inculcate a research culture in Bits where every student has hope of publishing, and that's why like the research culture would increase. Every student would write better research papers in hopes of getting published in a accessible journal. So if I had to ask you that you have to write a research paper for ASME,
I think we can move on to the point.
sure, but again, I have precedent, I have proof, so I think it is implementable.
Cool.
There's a
So
small issue that I see out here. When we say a publication, the value publication is very much determined by the journal and its outreach. But when you will be launching this journal as such, it won't have that much outreach, and people, the publication itself won't have that much value itself. So, how do you plan on incentivizing people to publish their research projects or research material into this journal, as because initial days there won't be any much value for this publication as such? So how do you
It's not that
incentivize
in the
people?
initial days there wouldn't be much value. I think I know who I'm talking to, and the people who are interested in research, going into research, and they need to build a name for themselves and get accredited for their work, and they haven't been able to do so because it's very hard to get published into a reputed journal. So just having a journal, a bit specific journal, would improve BITS culture because people would know that if they write a good enough paper, it would get published in a journal and they would get credit for it. It's a simple reasoning. Moreover, the boost in H indices that our professors and students will get, the boost in rankings that bits will get, it would have immense impact, a great impact on the rankings and on the stature of bits. I think it's a pretty good idea to publish a bit specific journal.
Okay, very short question. How many people are you expecting will be submitting to this journal?
I cannot assume on how many people are interested in
just
submission.
asking
We
what
can.
you're expecting.
So again, I'm not expecting anything. We'll look at stats first. How many people we are getting? We'll get it running. We'll have an editorial board.
How
We'll
many papers do you think you'll need to start getting, like, to get running?
So again, I have precedent that such a journal existed in the
Such
past.
a journal existed in 2008. Now I'm asking you one question. Don't avoid
I have
it.
said that
I'm
I will
asking
be
you
giving
how many
I will
papers
be giving a proof of
will you
feasibility of
need?
it being republished again from the head of PU of the publications unit.
My question was, how many papers do you think you'll need to start getting this running?
As I said, the logistics could be figured out after we have an editorial board and a team to republish the journal.
Okay, cool. So the GBM is required to take note that as of now, we do not have an editorial board, and like it's one person's word against the other that people are ready for the editorial board or not.
And by
are
tomorrow,
not ready for the
by tomorrow, you'll have proof of feasibility from the head of the publications unit, who was in the editorial board of Journal Curie as
Okay,
well.
I'm afraid we cannot do anything with the proof tomorrow because the debate is today where we are presenting.
Sure. I understand.
Sure.
It's just for the GBM. All right.
Cool. And yeah, so I think we can move forward from the research journal. Coming to deferred placements. Ishan, can you go for?
Yeah, so this proof was submitted by Harsh, right? So Harsh, who is the current placement chief right now?
I have no idea. I did not talk to the placement.
So
I talked to the placement coordinator. I did not talk to the placement chief right now.
What did the placement coordinator say to you then?
The placement coordinator told me that these type of decisions we need to according to the placement coordinator, the commission of these type of initiatives need to be taken from Aditya Birla management. So what we'll be doing is they said this is if you want this to be feasible, you'll have to talk to Aditya Birla management. This is what she stated. No other point. Smriti Mishra, Smriti Prakash is the current.
Yeah, Ari, can you show the screenshots? Yeah. So over here, she discusses with you. She's discussed with one of our EC members about the feasibility of this, and she is outrightly the same thing that she's been asking. So she also mentions that she has asked you to talk to the placement managers. Did you talk to any of them? Who are the placement managers?
I tried talking to Kabir Mishra sir. I tried getting in touch with him, but I couldn't reach out to him.
Okay, so as of now, okay, fine. So the current ground reality right now is you don't know who the placement chief is. You have not reached out to any placement manager. The placement coordinator herself has said that this is not possible. So what have you done here? And coming back to the screenshot, can we go back to the previous slide, please, Ari? So this was actually the evidence that was given by Akash Singh when he had contested for General Secretary. This is 3 years back. So you have submitted this as proof of your initiative. How is this? How have you shamelessly copied this and provided no evidence of your own?
Wait, now I'll tell you what I submitted to you. There was a printout of a mail submitted to which was sent by Akash Singh to me. If you can present that, he sent this to me in that mail. First, second, I submitted a proposal to this one. Second thing, I submitted a proposal to if you can present that. Yes, this one. And third thing was this page of
whose proposal is this? Whose proposal is this?
Now I'll tell you what happened. So when I read about deferred placement program, I saw this is a really great initiative. I just called Akash Bhaiya, like, why was this not being taken up? Why is PU denying it? What are the exact problems with this? What he told me is during his tenure, he talked to the PU chief. He got a written sign from PU chief. If you can present the PU chief's letter to me. If you can zoom into that had discussion part. No worries, I'll read it out to you. Had discussions with Mr. Akash and team. Deferred placement is implementable. Has been discussed earlier about 4 to 5 years back with students. Students need to take initiatives to remove minor hurdles. Here, the placement chief, he not so much, थोड़ा सा zoom out था. तो यहाँ पे the placement chief has mentioned it very clearly कि उस टेन्योर से 2018 से भी 4-5 साल पहले स्टूडेंट्स ने कोशिश करी, लेकिन देयर वर माइनर हर्डल्स एंड देन उन लोगों ने वो आगे इम्प्लीमेंट करने की कोशिश नहीं करी. आकाश भैया ट्राइड इट. What Akash did was he talked to Tabir Mishra then. Tabir Mishra promised him कि ये होगा, but it wasn't done. उनके टाइम में ये चीज नहीं हुई. He was promised. I talked to him today also. He said he was promised doing this, but he doesn't know कि हुआ क्यों नहीं. They just kept.
Again over here, what Dasgupta sir has written over here is that students need to take initiative. What initiative have you taken? All the initiative that you have taken is ask for proof from Akash Singh. What else have you done?
Exactly. So, अभी अगर ये मैं इनिशिएटिव अभी ले लेता, if I would have done it, why would it have been at my manifesto point? मैं अपने टेन्योर में इनिशिएटिव लेना चाहता हूँ. What Akash Singh has done till now, whatever progress he has achieved till now, I have done my homework on this point. Whatever progress he has done achieved till now, I know that. I have talked.
What is the progress on this?
He has reached out to Tabir Mishra sir. He has reached out to then placement unit chief. I have talked to him कि उसने क्या-क्या बातें हुई. There were some minor hurdles. There were some hurdles with the company super.
All of this is already written over here. You're only repeating what is written in the proof. What is your initiative?
हाँ, I'll tell you कि उन्होंने क्या hurdles achieve करे. There were some problems with the company superset जहाँ से resumes वगैरह बन के आते हैं, जहाँ से placement unit जिससे linked है जहाँ से. उनके साथ जो there's this company Superset, if I am correct. So वहाँ से there were some logistical issues from them. Akash Singh has approached them. He has found out कि क्या logistical issues थे. उन्होंने वो cover कर लिए हैं. Right now, what we need to do is we have to get a meet with Tabir Mishra sir. We have to get a meet with current placement unit chief. And as it is written कि ये implementable है, as it is written कि wait, do you want me to read this out?
This is from one of the.
No, this is just for GBM to see. This is the EPC article on why Akash Singh was not able to do it. And apart from that, GBM is required to note that basically from the placement unit, we have the students telling that this is going to take 6 years or so because getting approval from KM Birla is not that easy. But go on, Amba, you can go on.
So, see, 6 years or so, 4-5 साल पहले ट्राई किया आकाश भैया ने, उनसे 4-5 साल पहले किसी और ने ट्राई किया, बट दे हैड सम अदर प्रायोरिटीज. उनके पास और इनिशिएटिव्स थे उस टाइम अपने फोकस करने के लिए. आई एम टेलिंग दिस इज वेरी वेल पॉसिबल. ये होगा. आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट इनफ एंड आई विल बी टेकिंग दिस अप एज माय फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी. अभी से इस पे काम स्टार्ट होगा. व्हेन आई विल बी द जनरल सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टूडेंट यूनियन बिट्स पिलानी, आई विल हैव दैट वेट कि आई विल बी एबल टू कांटेक्ट तबीर मिश्रा सर. आई विल बी एबल टू आस्क हिम कि आपके पास दिक्कतें क्या आ रही हैं. यू जस्ट प्रेजेंट मी द प्रॉब्लम्स यू आर फेसिंग इन दिस. आपको जो दिक्कतें आ रही हैं उसको मैं सॉल्व करूंगा. उसको आई विल प्रोवाइड लॉजिकल सॉल्यूशंस टू दैट. आई विल डिस्कस.
So here is the problem. I present you a problem. Kumar Mangam Birla is not listening to me. बताओ तुम क्या?
कुमार अच्छा
I'm Tabir Mishra and I am telling you right now कि KM Birla is not listening to me. तुम क्या करने वाले हो?
एक सेकंड. अगर KM बिरला नहीं सुनेगा तो क्या PS की फीस कम नहीं होगी? PS की फीस भी रिड्यूस हुई है. We weren't getting any replies. Still PS की फीस कम हुई. We weren't getting any replies from AUGSD. हमने स्ट्रगल किया. We talked to director. We had a meet with director. I was slightly away from being disrespectful to the director of BITS Pilani campus. Clear grade initiate हुआ. These things have been done in past. अगर KM बिरला नहीं सुनेगा तो ये नहीं कि एक अच्छा इनिशिएटिव होना नहीं चाहिए. Do you think deferred placement program will not benefit students?
Is this what you're going to tell Tabir Mishra? Just a question.
क्या? No. We'll ask कि ताबिर मिश्रा सर आप क्यों नहीं कर पा रहे हो? अगर वो नहीं कर पा रहे हो, give me the reasons why are you being like why aren't you able to contact KM बिरला सर? सिर्फ ताबिर मिश्रा नहीं है. ताबिर मिश्रा के ऊपर प्लेसमेंट चीफ है. प्लेसमेंट चीफ के ऊपर डायरेक्टर है. There is a bureaucratic hoop. I know and I know how to counter these bureaucratic hoops. How to move up in this hoop. ऊपर से ऊपर कम्युनिकेशन जाएगा एंड देन ओनली वी विल बी एबल टू रीच केएम बिरला. ऐसा तो जब फी हाइक प्रोटेस्ट हुआ था तो केएम बिरला के ऑफिस में बैठ के एक डिस्कशन हुई थी उस टाइम. इट्स नॉट इम्पॉसिबल टू रीच केएम बिरला और इट विल नॉट टेक 6 years to reach केएम बिरला. If that what
no, it won't take 6 years. I was just presenting a problem that could come up, but okay, if that's what you're going to say, Tabir Mishra ki like KM Birla, he hasn't replied for
I won't tell Tabir Mishra sir. Then
go ahead with this now.
Wait,
okay,
wait.
Fine. But basically, the point here is that there are some hierarchical issues, and you are not the first student to attempt this. Akash Singh has attempted this. PU Courts in the past have tried to attempt this. PU Courts in the present are trying to attempt this. But yet, with the same arguments, but yet somehow you as the GenSec is going to convince everyone, convince the administration and the entire hierarchy, I mean, people in the hierarchy that yes, let's go ahead with deferred placement. Is that what you're saying?
See, is this point needed? Yes. Is this point implementable? I have shown you proof that it is implementable. Efforts have been done on this. Everything takes a number of efforts. तो मैं कुछ भी करवाना हो, you need a number of efforts. There are many initiatives जो 4-5 साल चलने के बाद जाके पूरे होंगे. I am saying I'll be taking up the reports from. I've had a number of meets with Akash. Akash was GenSec then. I have had number of meets. और मैंने उनसे पूछा कि अब तक प्रोग्रेस क्या हुई है, उस प्रोग्रेस को वहां से ओवरटेक करने के लिए उनको कोई चाहिए. I have asked him कि should I do this? He said this is a very feasible point and you should overtake it. और इसीलिए उन्होंने मेरे पास proof भेजे. और he does not have any incentive to send these proofs to me.
Okay, the entire conversation with Akash, if he was so enthusiastic, we do not know, or we do not know if he just sent the mail to you because you talked to him. But anyways, the GBM is requested to look at the proof in front of them, which is a mail from Akash, like which is proof presented by Akash.
A letter from
for the
Akash.
same initiative presented from given by Akash, everything. But he was not able to achieve that during his time for the same hierarchical reasons that we have the current placement unit court telling us that the same hierarchical reasons because of which it takes a long time to achieve this. Yet we have Lamba here like claiming that he is going to achieve it, and you guys.
I want to tell that कि अगर hierarchical discussions की वजह से if this issue will take time, तो अब तब से आज तक 6 साल हो चुके हैं. अगर सिर्फ यही एक issue होता तो हो जाता. कहीं ना कहीं
that is if someone was working on it since then. I don't think Akash has worked on it since.
It needs to be taken up now. Is this needed? Yes, it is needed.
So other than your confidence,
basically what your manifesto point should be that I will take up presenting it to the institute that deferred placement should happen instead of guaranteeing that deferred placements will happen, because we are here talking with in your
I am confident enough. I am
you can
confident
achieve deferred.
So as of now,
I am confident that I'll be able to achieve it in my tenure.
So as other than confidence, there is nothing else on ground that you have done on this, right?
I've shown you proofs. The
proof is not your work. The proof is not your work. The proof is Akash Singh's work. Other than your confidence, you have made no progress in this regard till now, right? Correct?
I've told you I have not made progress. This SU has made progress on this. SU बहुत time से communicate करता आ रहा है ये problem. I think this is a pressing problem and I will take it as my first priority.
It's a very big problem. We get that now. I think we are running short of time. We should move on.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I think we missed out one more point over here. Harsh, Lamba, did you have a point on ungraded lab courses?
That was my 8th point. It was after laundromat.
Okay.
It was after laundromat.
Fine, fair enough. So I just want to know that have you performed any like interest capture form, or have you tried to garner how much interest there is in this respect?
No, we haven't garnered any kind. Like I don't have any kind of survey per se. But I have talked to a lot of people during campaigning, before campaigning too, and during my tenure too, I was talking to a lot of people, and this is what is needed by a lot of people. Pharma ki maximum courses were lab based and they haven't actually used their lab equipment. Yeah. It's a very pressing problem for them. For workshops, first year mein workshops experience hi nahi kari. Even I haven't experienced lathe machine even once. I haven't interacted with that lathe machine even once. So I think this is a problem. हमने अपनी tuition fees pay कर रखी है, so I think we should be given that.
Okay, so are these courses only for first year, or it will be for all lab courses?
It won't be like इस चीज पे discussions होंगी AUGST के साथ. We'll check कि कौन से courses के लिए feasible है, कौन से courses के लिए feasible नहीं है. First of all, first year rates के लिए जो workshops है उनके लिए तो होना ही चाहिए. Then those who have missed their offline labs, उन सब के लिए I'll push this कि maximum लोगों के लिए ये उन लोगों को ये option मिल जाए.
Fine. So considering that, okay, for example, after this, I think your natural step will be to sort of gauge how many people are interested, right?
Firstly, we'll have to contact AUGST. सबसे पहले उनसे पूछा जाएगा कि कौन से courses में feasible है, and नहीं, ये चीज एक्चुअली हो भी चुकी है. In previous AC AUGSD meet, we have presented that, and he was the AUGSD associate dean Suresh Gupta was very much interested in this. उन्होंने कहा भी था कि हाँ ये चीज हो सकती है, we should pursue this, but इस पे आगे logistics सोचे जाएंगे. पहले देखा जाएगा कि
आगे की जो logistics है उसी का मैं I'm asking you then that considering the interest issue, that for example initially if you float a form and there are about say 200 or 100 people say that okay we are interested in pursuing this, and then later on they don't turn up, what is the incentive to stop them from doing that?
So इसके लिए सबसे आई एम टेलिंग यू वंस अगेन, सबसे पहले लॉजिस्टिक्स का पूछा जाएगा फ्रॉम AUGSD कि वो लोग कौन से कोर्सेज के लिए मैनेज कर सकते हैं. देन एक बार हमारे पास कोर्सेज हो गए कि हाँ ये वाले कोर्सेज रिपीट हो सकते हैं, किस टाइम पे रिपीट हो सकते हैं, देन वील सेंड आउट एन इंटरेस्ट फॉर्म. उसमें देखा जाएगा कि इफ
all of that is correct, all of that is already passed. Now I'm saying that you've got the responses from the GBM that these are the people who are interested, and a lot of people say that yeah we're interested, and later on they just back off. There is no deterrent for that.
Yeah, you know, I know that there's no stopping. There's no stopping for those people. So what we'll do is starting May, let's say there are 50 students who are interested in a particular course. अगर there are a lot of students तो एक separate section create होगा. If there are less number of students तो उनको दूसरे section से audit करने दे दिया जाएगा. अब if there are 50 students who are like trying to know कि workshop में exactly होता क्या है, they are attending a lot of sessions, but let's say after 2 months like during mid-sem वो चीज एकदम drop out हो जाती है, drop down to 10, let's say सिर्फ 10 students attend करते हैं वो चीज, तो लोगों को डिवाइड कर दिया जाएगा बाकी सेक्शंस में अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर फीजिबिलिटी.
Okay, so when
very
will you
liquid
conduct
process
this?
because ये ungraded है and it will be possible.
No, so when will you conduct these? See for example, if I'm supposed to talk about the workshop course, for example, from Monday to Friday, most morning slots will be closed. Will you make the workshop workers stay home, or will you make them work overtime? What will be the
This is a logistical issue. What AUGSD will be countering, what workshop IC will be countering. It's not an issue, but SU will be countering. We'll be just asking them कि देखो हमने tuition fees दे रखी है, you have to provide the service to us. अब वो क्योंकि हमने tuition fees दे रखी है, it's their inherent duty कि वो ये चीज provide करें. And this is feasible. पहले बात हो चुकी है इस बारे में हमारी AUGSD से. अब एक बार आ जाएगा कि कैसे feasible है कैसे नहीं है, ये सब उसके बाद का काम है.
One thing I'm not understanding out here, you have paid the tuition fees, so how is it your right to ask an ungraded course into this?
Listen, I have paid my tuition fees, I have paid my full tuition fees. I have not used lathe machine even once. I have not made even one sample which in normal conditions I would have done.
So are you suggesting that since you have not made, so whatever your transcript till now for all the courses or labs you have not attended, you want all of them to be non-graded now?
No.
And your transcript to be changed now?
No, that's not my point. I have very specifically mentioned there lab courses for first-hand experience. Whatever we are being taught in lectures, वो तो online maybe teachers are being able to impart that knowledge to us. But what practical knowledge is to be imparted, वो नहीं हो पा रही है अभी. For that, we have to create these optional sections for students जिनको अपना interest pursue करना है, जिसको असली में वो workshop course attend करना है, he should be given an option.
So this is only specific to the online sem that you're talking about?
हाँ, this is और किस लिए होगा ये? Online semester है, online semester में लोग नहीं कर पाए, जिन लोगों ने online semester में वो चीज miss कर दी, उनके लिए होगा ये. This will be a very temporary project. This will not be a very full length project. जिन लोगों ने ऑनलाइन सेमेस्टर के कारण अपनी लैब्स मिस करी हैं, अपनी वर्कशॉप्स मिस करी हैं, अपना इजी लेक्चर मिस करा है, उनके लिए है ये.
And you will just propose to the AUGSD that it's a solution that they have to look out. That they'll have to look out for, and it's not your perspective to look into.
We have proposed this to AUGSD. AUGSD is very much interested in this. AC AUGSD meet की बहुत सारी minutes of the meet we have made it public. You can read them, and there it is written कि AUGSD is very much interested in this. And I, as a former member of ACU, I'm telling you कि हाँ ये बात हुई है, and मैंने ही बात करी.
Right, Mr. Lama, so I'm having trouble understanding where do you come in all of this. So by your own submission, AUGSD is already very interested in this and that they'll be doing this. and number two, it is obviously and for the IC to figure out what will be the logistics of it. So where do you
Exactly.
come in all of this? I'm having trouble understanding that.
See, while when we will propose this to AUGST, there will be a lot of logistical issues on students' end. There'll be logistical issues on in working of AUGST कि teachers को कैसे manage करना है, but students के भी कुछ ना कुछ issues आएंगे, and someone needs to communicate those issues to AUGST कि अगर तुम इस टाइम पे लैब रख दोगे तो ये दिक्कत आएगी, अगर तुम उस टाइम पे वर्कशॉप रख दोगे तो ये दिक्कत आएगी. I'll be the middleman communicating from students to AUGST की problems क्या आ रही हैं, and बीच में भी while as Ishan pointed out कि कुछ लॉजिस्टिकल प्रॉब्लम्स बीच में भी आ सकती हैं, स्टूडेंट्स माइट लूज देयर इंटरेस्ट, तो उस टाइम वो चीज कम्युनिकेट करने का काम मेरा.
So then your
students can't
manifesto
write
point.
an email to the IC by themselves and they need to go through you to talk to the IC.
स्टूडेंट्स आई डोंट थिंक कि 200 स्टूडेंट्स अटेंड कर रहे हैं एंड एंड में उनमें से 50 बच जाते हैं, तो उनमें से कोई एक like it isn't his responsibility to tell AUGST कि सिर्फ 50 लोग रह गए हैं, disperse us in other lectures या फिर ऐसा कुछ. It isn't his responsibility.
Okay, so
I am
basically
taking up that
summary of what
responsibility
you're
on myself.
telling. Summary of what you're telling, that let AUGST like irrespective of what logistical problems AUGST is going to face, especially with respect to inspectors, equipments, resources, etc. What you are going to do is you're just going to solve the student problems and communicate it to the AUGST. So your manifesto point should be there will be like I would request the institute to introduce an ungraded lab course and solve any student logistics problems related to it. So I think like that is the summary of
first point mentioned kare that I'll be aiding this process. An option to attend lab courses will be given to students who want hands-on experience.
You won't be giving the option to students. AUGST will be giving it to the students, given
Obviously,
that they sort out their logistical problems.
Obviously, I cannot teach students
given
how
that
to
they,
work in workshop.
Yeah.
That's very obvious point.
Got it. So
what
given
are you
that,
trying to point out?
Given that they sort out their logistical issues, given that AUGST sorts out their logistical issues.
I'm telling you, I have had communication with them.
So the GBM is required to know that the assumption of whether such an ungraded lab course be given or not, like based on this conversation, you can conclude that. And what is Harsh's role in it? I think like we have made that also pretty clear, and we can move on to the laundromat Mira point. So extension of laundromat for Mira Bhavan, to this where we have the chief warden's mail where he says that he is in favor of it, and he has proof from the CEO of laundromat who also says that yes, let's go ahead and go ahead with this point. So do you know that this point was there in a previous manifesto?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so there was this point and we tried finding out why exactly it wasn't implementable. So there are renovations that are still going on in Mira Bhavan, because of which like putting a laundromat inside Mira is not an option. So like where exactly is this facility going to be set up?
So I've had detailed discussions with Chief Warden as well as the CEO of laundromat. This is being like I have proposed them कि there's this there's a gate of Mira Bhavan, then there's a Chowki's room, I guess. Uske just outside this extension will be created, and it will be created there because इसमें there will be a service of dry cleaning, which should be accessible to all the students, not only Mira residents. इसीलिए it will not be constructed inside Mira Bhavan, whether it will be constructed outside Mira Bhavan, just outside the Mira Bhavan.
And why this location then if it's like accessible to everyone, especially given just outside Mira Bhavan? I think the property belongs to BET and not like this.
Just outside Mira Bhavan, I have talked to Chief Warden on this. Actually, he's saying that this is very much possible कि उसके बाहर से ये Chief Warden की बेटी है. He'll be talking to BET and all. He's saying this is possible. I'll be going with you. I'll be talking to BET and all. और उसके बाहर we'll be able to allocate a location for this this laundromat extension. Second point which we were telling is कि why outside Mira Bhavan, why not other hostels, right?
Yeah, why that particular area? That's it. Because from what I gained from this mail, it's written they shall ensure residential girl students can have more privy. I'm assuming that's an access instead of an access towards the said facility. So if it's supposed to be a separate facility for girls that the CEO is talking about, but you are talking about a facility outside that's accessible to other hostels as well. Like, I think there's a
first of all,
communication gap here, and like clear it out. What exactly do you mean
I'll clear
by the
that out.
names
I'll
like
create
this?
it out for you. So
Go
the
on.
thing is कि this laundromat extension will be created outside Mira Bhavan. इसमें जो normal clothes हैं वो सिर्फ Mira Bhavan residents के wash किए जाएंगे. The dry cleaning service will be open to everyone else, and this is the introduction of dry cleaning service in laundromat. One thing. Second thing, why Mira Bhavan? Because Mira Bhavan has the most number of residents compared to all other hostels. That's why मीरा भवन. मीरा भवन के लिए एक सेपरेट फैसिलिटी बन जाएगी, तो बाकी जो 2 लॉन्ड्रोमैट के बूथ्स हैं वहां से सर्विस बाकी हॉस्टल्स के लिए बहुत फास्ट हो जाएगी. जो दे व्हाट दे प्रॉमिस इज 2 days डिलीवरी विद इन 2 days. डिलीवरी विद इन 2 days ही होगी, अभी 4 दिन के अंदर होती है. दे ऑलवेज एक्सटेंड देयर टाइमलाइन. तो दिस ऑल विल नॉट हैपन, एंड इससे क्या होगा कि जो बाकी हॉस्टल्स हैं उनके लिए जो लॉन्ड्री कलेक्शन सर्विस होती है वो भी फास्ट रेट पे होगी. This all is what will be happening.
Okay, so outcomes are like pretty obvious that yes, instead of 4 days, I'll get it back in like 2 days and so on. But yeah, the GBM is required to take note of the confusion where exactly who all can access this new laundromat facility, and B, that the chief warden hasn't said that he'll sort out the area. Basically, he said I'm in favor of it, and what exactly that means, like GBM can decide.
Chief
for
Warden
themselves.
cannot mention everything in his mail. I've had detailed discussions with Chief Warden on this topic. He's saying he'll be facilitating the
Yeah, we
construction
cannot
of
verify your detailed discussions, which is why we'll be stopping it here. Is that cool?
No worries.
Cool. So that I think covers the laundromat Mira point, which should be a long way to go just so that I can get my clothes back in 2 days. But yes, going on to hostel facilities. Can someone take this up?
Yes, so Mr. Lamba, so you've suggested that you will put up a foosball table and a microwave
Exactly.
in the common rooms, right? And even the chief warden himself is saying that the microwave option is a bit sensitive.
Little sensitive on the maintenance point of view. He's saying
Precisely. So are you aware that Mr. Bubna had also suggestions for common room upgrades and why they could not be done?
No, I did not talk to Bubna on why foosball table could not be installed there. But I had discussions with Chief Warden, and Chief Warden didn't know what foosball table is. I told him कि foosball table exactly होता क्या है. I told him how it is beneficial for all the students to interact really well, and he was very much impressed with this. He was in favor with installing foosball tables. He even told me the institute can also push in funds for the same for all the hostels.
Right. So
for
since you would not talk to Bubna and Balaji, we did your work for you. So as you can see, Bubna and Balaji had to stop with their common room upgrades because there were cases of vandalism with Wendy Man and so on and so forth. So they said that microwaves cannot be put because their safety cannot be ensured. So what are you proposing to do which would be different and then would handle these vandalism cases, as you can see?
So for this also I had talked with Chief Warden sir. What will be done is right now CCTV cameras are installed outside common rooms. They'll be shifted to inside common rooms. इससे क्या होगा? If you remember, I don't know if you know this or not, but previous year the SU Endyman service that is there in SR, it was vandalized too, and तब से रुकी हुई है वो Endyman service. इस चीज का एक काउंटर होना चाहिए, and I completely understand that जो CCTVs हैं वो common rooms के अंदर मूव कर दिए जाएंगे, which is not a major task, and then all this will be able to we will be able to regulate all.
Right. The GBM is requested to take note that the election commission or the panel has received no proof of Mr. Lamba's discussion with the chief warden regarding moving the cameras inside the common rooms to take care of vandalism.
I have talked to Chief Warden sir, and because
precisely, but we don't know if you talk to, so therefore that's
Handyman भी vandalized हुआ था, and that's why he's favoring कि अंदर move हो cameras, because ऐसे cases he also doesn't want in cameras.
Okay.
We have to counter that.
So I think we can move forward from here.
We can.
one small question. If the chief warden was all like, yes, let's move cameras, why is he telling that it's a little sensitive from a maintenance point of view? Like basically what this
Microwave. So
basically he's indicating hesitation mainly for the vandalism reason. And like, do you think cameras
that's
are just
not the
going to
reason.
solve
That's not
vandalism?
the reason.
And do you
That's
think
not the
cameras would
reason.
solve vandalism?
Listen, cameras will solve vandalism. Yes. The thing which is pointed out here is maintenance point of view. Say microwaves aren't feasible because Pilani is an isolated. According to Chief Warden sir, Pilani is a village. It is an isolated village. वहाँ तक कोई services आ नहीं सकते microwaves की. The people who fix microwaves and all, they cannot come to Pilani. This is what he is saying. But this, I don't think this is a valid point at all for saying that microwaves cannot be installed. Obviously, we can call people time to time. We can call them like in once, twice in a semester. We can call a person for maintaining the microwaves. That's not a big issue. I think
Cool.
This is very negotiable thing.
Cool, got it. So yeah, the GBM is requested to take note that these initiatives, like they've previously tried to come up with it, but vandalism was a major issue, which is now being solved with CCTV cameras because, of course, CCTV cameras can see everything and you can't conceal your face or identity through it. But like it'll be a redundant discussion, like to go on with that, and you guys can like judge for yourself. Let me just go back to 1 second. Yeah, so I think the next point that is there is from Lamba's manifesto. It's point number 6.
Yes.
Right. So, Mr. Lamba, are you aware that the exact, so as has been the theme this evening, are you aware that the exact same point was in the manifesto of someone who had stood for the post of president in the election?
I completely know. Listen, I know the fact that this was a manifesto point in someone else's manifesto, and he was ragged very frivolously in previous audit debate. But I have proofs for this. If you can present those proofs.
Right, Ade, if you could present those proofs, please. Right. So the first proof that you have is from Sunil ji, who is the SMS manager, who's saying
SMS general manager.
Yes.
Who handles all the workers' operations, I guess.
Right. Thank you for telling me. Sure. So the first one is from Sunil ji, who is saying that you need to talk to the governing council.
No, he's saying,
yes,
according to me,
it can happen, but you need to talk to the GC for it, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
He's saying, according to him, it can happen, which means according to workers, this point can happen. But I'll need to talk to SSMS GC. I completely understand it.
Right.
The second
and did you talk to the SSMS GC?
The second proof. Can you just explain everyone what is in the second proof?
Right. So as I understand, so this is Pranav Sharma. Pranav Sharma is a member of the governing council.
A member of the GC.
Yes, a member of the governing council. So
who is an elected mess representative of 400 people from 2 years.
Yes.
Now you can continue.
Yes. So he is saying that I am ready to take the initiative forward along with you in the SSMS.
He's saying that the idea is feasible. First point is that the idea is feasible and it has happened in past during exam time, and it is really important for convenience of Meera Bhavan resident. This is what he's stating. Then the second thing is he's ready to take an initiative forward along with me in SSMSGC and work towards resolving any issues. Now, before you give any explanations on this point, I want to state very clearly that this is a point which I discussed with General Manager at length, the Sunil Kandpal, the person you Sunilji, I discussed it with him, and he's saying from workers' point of view, it is feasible. But he needs an order or guideline from SSMSGC. I talked to an elected member of SSMSGC, Pranav Sharma, and he's saying that it is feasible according to him, and he's ready for pushing this conversation into SSMSGC, and we can ponder upon this. Now, what I'd like to point out here is I know that this issue has been taken up in SSMSGC quite a lot of time, and I know the SSMSGC knows that this is a very pressing issue that Meera Bhavan residents cannot have to go to and fro again and again during breakfast and lunch times. SSMSGC understands this issue, but there were some logistical problems due to which they cannot implement it till now. What I am saying is right now messes are not working, as these are very unusual times when messes are not working, and the SSMSGC does not have that much workload. So listed in this, we will be able to find out a solution to this. This is what I am going to say.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Rama. So I have two things to say. Number one, so this proof, this submission by Pranav Sharma, so this is a personal submission. No? While Mr. Sharma is clearly a member of the SMSGC, he by himself is not the SMSGC. Therefore, his word cannot be taken as the word of the entire SMSGC. That is point number one. And point number two is that the main issue with having women in these messes near the academic block is that we have two FSPs. So we have two caterers on campus who cater to two different messes, and therefore, if women and then we cannot have all of them in one mess, no. So we need to split them around. And since messes are being catered by two FSPs, so the FSP who caters to Mira tends to lose money if the women of Mira eat in a mess which is catered by the other FSP. So now there can be two. So now there are two possibilities. Number one is that you charge the girl who's eating the food in the mess near to the academic block double.
Sabya, I'd like to pause you for a moment.
Sure.
Have the contracts for next year been signed with these FSPs right now?
No. They haven't.
What again?
They haven't. No.
They haven't been signed, right? That's what I was pointing out. I know there are logistical issues with this. I know there are problems. But what I believe is that we haven't signed the contracts yet. The mess workers aren't working right now. SMSGC isn't working right now. This is a time when we can sit on a round table. We can discuss these issues. We can discuss all these logistical issues, and we can find a solution for that. This is what I am stating. My point is,
Lamba. So see, what
yes,
you're saying.
sir,
So you're saying that this hasn't been implemented so far because we did not have the time to do it,
and messes were working, and messes were working. Bringing in such changes while messes are working is a big task, and I understand it. And I completely understand it. I was talking to Pranav, I was talking to Sunilji, and this is what I got from their conversation. It is difficult while the messes are currently working. हम नहीं कर पाते थे. But they are also saying कि अभी काम नहीं कर रहे हैं. These are very unusual times. They are free. We have a lot of time to discuss on this. We can deliberate upon a plan. We can deliberate upon what contracts to sign with those FSPs, and then we can find out a feasible way out for this. Because I think even every girl present here, Sneha or Arahi, will completely agree with the fact that breakfast or lunch ke time they have to come back to Mira, then they have to have their breakfast, and they have to go back to
dude, but I'd
LDC
rather
hall.
cycle all the way back to
FSP
Mira
aside.
and sit in a mess that is not that crowded compared to sitting in a crowded mess where I
Precisely.
probably won't even have place to sit at.
I completely understand that. For this, you can see that पिछली बार there wasn't Shankar and Vyas mess. Shankar और Vyas mess के सारे residents were eating their food in BKV. Now Shankar Vyas mess has been constructed. It will be functioning when we come back to campus. तो बहुत सारी चीजें change हुई हैं. We'll be able to house all the girls. In my opinion, we'll be able to counter these logistical issues. This is what I'm stating.
I have one question in that case. If Shankar and Vyas mess, I think they're pretty much as far away from the academic blocks as Mira. So do only girls get to eat from the other messes, or do the Shankar and Vyas mess guys also during class get to?
And there's another issue with this is that while SV mess was under construction, all of the workers of the SV mess could be accommodated elsewhere and therefore handle the additional pressure. But now we'll also be operating the Mira mess, and therefore we'll have workforce over there. And also try and handle the overcrowding which would result. I don't know if you live in KG.
I'm stating very clearly. These are unusual times. Mess की working चल नहीं रही है. SSMS के जो general manager है, he is very happy कि ये चीज हो रही है. He thinks कि this can happen. What I am saying is कि SU अगर एक proposal लेके SSMSGC के पास आएगा, I know SSMSGC will have a discussion with SU, and that is why I think this is feasible. I am confident enough that I'll be able to make a system which will counter all these logistical issues. right now, if it is happening right now, because right now messes aren't working, SSMS GCs aren't working. This is what simple point I am stating right now.
Right.
And I don't think the SSMS GC will have any problem in having a discussion with SU and the workers of
No, I
SSMS.
mean, we're obviously open to having discussions with whatever stakeholders of the process, but that does not mean that will suddenly make the process feasible, right?
I told you these are unusual times.
Right. So
messes aren't working.
I know, right? These are
I'm not
unusual
trying
times,
to defend
and
anything here. I'm just saying that I am confident that I'll be able to find out a logical way. I am very confident that SU and SSMS, if they work together, they'll be able to find out a logical way in which we can we can just curb out these problems which girls are facing right now, which Miravan residents are facing.
I mean, sure. So if you saying that it's unusual times, therefore we can do anything. So that is where I will rest this argument. I think we can move forward.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's more or less it for today. Anything else that the panel wants to add?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
There is SU complaints portal, which I think from the SU tech team we have a message about like campus culture. Do you want to make any comments, Shukla?
You were mentioning that you had a comment from SU Tech team. What was that?
A comment that you had shared the screenshot which you already presented.
Yeah. So for the SU complaints portal and public announcement system is purely a technical initiative which could be taken under SU Tech team. I've talked to the head of operations of SU Tech team and he has agreed to the technical feasibility of this point. This would act as increasing administrative accountability within the student union itself, so that every complaint is channelized and transparent, and that every complaint, there is a notice of every complaint, and it can be solved within the shortest possible time. Moreover, the public announcement system, it's for the clubs and departments whose messages get buried inside the spamming on WhatsApp groups and emails. Therefore, there would be a site devoted to clubs and departments in which they would be able to send out announcements for recruitments and other announcements as well. So that was the thing behind it. It's okay from SU Tech team side, the technical side. I don't think there should be any problem with it.
Never a question like, cool, SU Tech team said they'll handle it, and that's the word, like we can't say anything against it. I was asking regarding your point number 8 and 10, do you have anything to tell to the GBM regarding how you will be implementing, because we receive no proofs?
Sure. So point 8 and 10 completely comes under the president. That's why I didn't need to give proof. So point 10, we have collaborated with startups such as eKida in the past as well to provide subsidized and completely free services to the student community. And we will be doing that in the past as well. SU funds could be made to subsidize these courses as well. Talking about point number 8, rejuvenating campus culture. So it is a very real problem that every single senior and junior faces, that the culture of BITS, the soul of BITS, which lied inside the senior junior bonding. We have such a great alumni network. BITSA is one of the greatest alumni networks, and that has been made through the senior junior bonding within college. But due to the online semester, that hasn't been possible. So to rejuvenate the campus culture, what I propose is I would have hostels allocated to the students, every student, including the 20 batch, and inter-hostel fests would be conducted. Firstly, it would be on a very small level. As we are starting out, it would not be a very huge project. It would just aim at collaborating different batches, such as there would be academic, co-curricular, and cultural activities. Let's say case competition, debates, music competition, dance competition, art competitions, things such as these, which would increase the bonding there is between the seniors and the juniors in a batch. Moreover, interbits culture would also be developed. I have talked to the sports secretary regarding this, who is currently doing an amazing job at organizing interbits sports festivals, and I would be following in collaboration with him. And I have talked to the student unions. I have worked with the student unions of the 3 campuses very closely in the past. We would be collaborating with the student unions to form an interbits fest as well. So
okay, I just have one small question here.
Sure.
All the competitions that you like mentioned, question. Have you talked to any of the clubs that
Not
conducted,
yet.
or is
I
SU
plan
going
to
to be
talk to
conducting?
Stuka. I plan to talk to Stuka and Costa once they're elected. So the thing is, right now the Stuka and Costa haven't been elected, and if I had just gotten
The Stuka is
approval,
The Stuka is elected as well as a part of Costa has been elected.
so again the entirety of Costa hasn't been elected. Moreover, the next Stuka, if it is elected, both I'll be talking to both of them when I come into power, and I will be sorting out the logistics. If the current departments want to handle it, it's fine. If not, the student union would make a separate body to handle the inter-hostel fest. As I said, it would be a small initiative at first. It would be a pilot project at first. We'll see how things function. Then by next year, if it goes all well, then by next year we could think about expansion. So
Okay,
not
so
a lot
if
of
this is
logistics or not a lot of committees would be needed for that. It wouldn't be a fest as large as OSS, Apogee or Bosom. It would be at a very small level. So I don't think a lot of logistics is needed for that.
okay, so if this is happening in an online SEM, you'll be virtually allotting hostels, etc. Isn't
Yes.
an online SEM already hectic? Like, why would do you think people would still want to join this despite
So
not having
that's the
time
point.
for
No,
anything
that
else?
online SEM is so hectic, and we are so bogged down by just academics, and we do not get anything else to do. We do not have friends to hang out with. We do not have places to go. We do not have competitions to participate in. This would provide a much needed respite from the monotony of an online SEM. This would prove to be the biggest initiative to relieve stress from students.
Listen, I
It's just
asked
like
कि
adding
students के
another
पास
fest.
time
If
नहीं
we
है.
couldn't have OSS and Apogee offline, it's just like we could have fostering bonding between batches through this inter-hostel fest.
My point was students के पास time नहीं है, तुम time कहाँ से बना रहे हो?
It's not like are you speaking for the GBM saying that students do not have time
Okay,
to
I'll
enjoy
speak
the
for
fest?
myself. I do not have time between projects, academics, etc. So then, but I really want to enjoy this.
Again, do you have a specific hobby? Let's talk about you. Do you have a specific hobby that you want to participate with, and you have let's assume that you are into music, and there are some juniors in the 2019 and 2020 batch who are into music as well. So all of you inside a hostel could participate, could form a team, could form better collaborations and participate and compete with different hostels. So it's a great initiative that way.
Cool. Then I think that is up to the GBM to judge, and no more comments on that. Go ahead on your skill development program.
So again, as I said, that skill development programs, we have collaborated with startups in the past as well. I can give you the example of eKida, which we have collaborated with in the past to give free courses for the students. Moreover, we will contact such startups as well in the future. We will use the SU fund if need be to subsidize these courses. Moreover, I think we have great people working in the Department of Sponsorship. I would like to ask for their help during negotiations. If not, SU could negotiate as well, and we could bring down the prices of these courses. And this would be an amazing initiative when students would get to learn new skills every day at a subsidized level.
Okay, so I think with that we have covered all the manifesto points. Vishwajit, you had a question?
My question is addressed to both of you. So you have mentioned quite a lot of points in a manifesto. I just want to know what your timeline is. How do you plan to execute all of them? Let's start with Harsh Lamba.
Be very brief, please. Don't go into a lot.
No worries. I'll open my manifesto right now. So first is accelerating campus reopening. This will begin from the
Let's
first
go
day.
from your priority as well.
Priorities accelerating campus reopening. First priorities, I'll start making an campus reopening team as soon as I come into tenure if I am elected. Second is alumni student mentorship program. This I've told you all. Ki firstly I'll wait for SARC ki how will their initiative move on. अगर उनका initiative सही चला then it's well and good. We don't need to have redundant initiatives. लेकिन अगर उनका initiative सही नहीं चलता then I'll start working on this. I'll first have discussion with them कि उनकी timeline क्या है और उसके हिसाब से I'll fix a timeline for this. Then is SU cycle rental service. For this ये initiative तभी start होगा when we go back to campus, which I am very sure कि before this semester, which will be around mid semesters of the next semester. I think we'll be back on campus. This is what my idea is right now, according to my talks with Chief Warden and Associate Dean of SWD. Next is pre-booking facilities at Looters and Dot. For this, I can very proudly say that I've been in contact with Looters from a lot of time. For Looters, a beta app has already been made. the application will be completed within first month of my tenure if I get elected. Even if I don't get elected, this app is something I promise to all the Bitsons. This will be made for sure. Deferred placement program. For this, we'll have to start working simultaneously. This is an initiative which I think I'll have to push for very strongly because many people have tried working on this. I'll start pushing for this from day one. I'll start having conversation with Kabir Mishra sir. I'll start presenting my proposals in front of directors, in front of senator. I'll start having discussions on this from the start of my tenure only. Entry of girls in messes near academic blocks. As far as I know, SSMS GC elections are happening right now. The new GC ExComs haven't been elected yet. As soon as the new president,
I'm sorry, what? What elections are happening right now?
As far as I know, SSMS GC में ExCom के जो elections हैं, president, secretary and treasurer for new tenure haven't been elected till now. And the information I have till now is they're being elected. It's in process right now. The previous president and secretary of SSMS were censured. This is what every GBM member knows. MOMs आए थे हमारे पास इस चीज के. So whenever new president and secretary will be elected, for this I've had conversation with Chief Warden. He's saying कि within next month, अगले SSMS president or secretary and treasurer will be elected from within the GC. जैसे ही नया president आता है, I'll start having conversation with him regarding this topic कि इस पे आगे कैसे चला जा सकता है. सुनील कांडपाल जी को बुलाया जाएगा, president से के साथ पूछ के एक meet setup करी जाएगी, and I'll start having discussions about this topic then. Laundromat for Meera Bhavan. Laundromat for Meera Bhavan के लिए I have talked to Chief Warden sir. I've asked him कि basic formalities क्या करनी होंगी, EMU से कैसे permission लेनी है, बाकी लोगों से कैसे permission लेनी है. I've had my talks with Laundromat CEO. They are ready to construct this laundromat as soon as they get permissions. तो भैया इसके लिए अभी से ही permissions लेनी start करेंगे. Once we have our campuses reopened, I think this will be constructed somewhat around mid of my tenure. I'm very sure it will be constructed by then. और इसकी अच्छे से functioning start हो जाएगी उसके 1-2 महीने के अंदर. Then is ungraded lab courses for first hand experience. इस पे तो already work चल ही रहा है. I am in contact, even when I was batch representative, I was in contact with AUGSD on this topic. So I was in contact with AUGSD on this topic, and I'll push those conversations forward, and I'll ask them कि अभी तक क्या इस पे उनकी progress है. I'll share my progress on this, and we'll have discussions on कि क्या कैसे हो सकता है. अभी से ही start कर देंगे इस पे भी काम. Then is betterment in hostel facilities, coolers, microwaves. ये काम hostel पे जाने के बाद ही हो सकता है. Still, I'll recruit the executive committee members and I'll ask them to look out for vendors. I'll myself will be looking out for vendors for foosball table, coolers, microwaves, sinks, and how will this system function. I'll start looking it from the start only.
All right. So you mentioned that you were quite sure that this semester the campus reopening will definitely happen.
I'm not quite sure. I'm very hopeful that semester will be by the next mid-semesters. Campus will be reopened according to my conversations as batch representatives and as Gensec candidate too with Chief Warden sir.
The upcoming mid-semesters and next mid-semesters.
Upcoming mid-semesters.
All right. Okay. So out of the 5 out of your...
The semester which will be beginning on 10th August 2020, 20th August 2021, uske mid-semesters.
Any questions?
Okay, so basically in this manifesto, like what I can see is एक deferred placements है, and दूसरा the alumni student mentorship if ARC allows you, and here deferred placements again if PU goes forward with it. These are the only two points you can work, assuming if the campus does not open. Which means that if we go online and in case the COVID situation gets worse, you just have 2 manifesto points. And this is something that you did not talk about. Instead, you keep telling that you're just hopeful that the campus will reopen.
Wait. I'll clarify this point.
Listen, let me complete. All of us wish that the campus would really open, and we totally understand your spirit of whatever hopeful spirit you have.
I know what point
you're contesting for elections. The GBM has this question so if the campus does not open, like, do you just have 2 points which basically are like
Now I'll point you out with whatever you have told me. पहले पॉइंट से स्टार्ट करते हैं. Accelerating campus reopening. It is for campus reopening. It is something which we need right now.
Don't go point by point. Just tell me कि पूरा manifesto में there are
कितने points हैं वो मैं गिनवा देता हूँ. I'll start iterating each and every point. Accelerating campus reopening अभी start होएगा initiative. Alumni student mentorship program. I've told you कि पहले साल का थोड़ा डिस्कशन होगा, उसके बाद I'll see कि कैसे होगा कैसे नहीं होगा. SU cycle rental service is something जो campus पे जाके होगा.
Sorry to interject.
Whatever you're going to do, we already got it. What we are trying to tell is, in case campus does not reopen, your point number one,
in case campus does not reopen,
you can start working on it. But in case campus does not reopen, the GBM is not getting anything except a student mentorship program and the said deferred placement program. Apart from that, the GBM does not get anything in an online semester.
Which I just
but you are requesting them to vote you in the said online semester.
So now let me complete. First thing, kabhi bhi campus khule, I am you have curbed the possibilities. You are saying कि let's say possible ना हो अभी campus पे जाना. Campus कभी भी खुले, girls के लिए messes तक जाना will be a problem. उस पर discussion अभी से ही start हो रही है. अगर हमारे पास अभी plan ready हो जाएगा, जब messes काम नहीं कर रही, तो जब भी हम campus पहुंचेंगे वो implement हो जाएगा. One.
We understood that. Understood that we'll start discussions. Listen. My point was कि अगर campus नहीं खुलेगा तो क्या करोगे?
अगर campus नहीं खुलता तो जब भी खुलेगा तब
वो manifesto points है.
Wait. जब भी कैंपस खुलेगा तब इट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल. ये बात है. जैसे ही कैंपस खुलेगा वैसे ही वो चीज हो जाएगी इम्प्लीमेंट.
Cool. Okay, then the GBM can take note of it. That is the reply. This was a question from the GBM that you just have 2 manifesto points which actually refer to the online sem. Rest all are offline. And क्या पता कि हम जाए ना जाए. Because
first of all, be very hopeful. Don't think कि हम लोग नहीं जा रहे campus वापस. Be very hopeful that we will go back to campus. जब सारे प्रोटोकॉल्स हैं तो हम जाएंगे. दूसरी बात, लॉन्ड्रोमैट उसके लिए जो परमिशंस लेनी है उसके लिए काम अभी से स्टार्ट हो जाएगा.
समझ में आए. We are just don't go away from
it. At this point, sorry to interject you. At this point, there's a very thick line between being hopeful and being practical. But all Arya is saying right now is कि if campus doesn't reopen, for instance, let's say campus doesn't reopen, there are only 2 points that you're saying, and what you are saying is कि there are other points that you're planning. The other points that you're planning upon and which will definitely be executed by the time campus.
Keeping out the possibility कि campus कभी भी खुलेगा. Campus कभी भी खुले. अगर laundromat पहले से बना हुआ मेरे tenure के बीच में तो laundromat will be helpful for everyone. Campus कभी भी खुले. अगर मीरा residents को बाकी messes में खाने का एक provision बन जाए, एक plan बन जाए उसके लिए, it will be helpful. कभी भी खुले campus.
How long does the construction of a laundromat unit take?
Not more than a month.
But
उसके लिए
are you sure about this?
I'm very sure about this. I have talked to the laundromat CEO. उसने कहा कि machines लाने में time लगता है. They have a facility at Jaipur. वहाँ से machines लानी है.
Construction of a laundromat. Construction of a laundromat unit.
एक construction करनी पड़ेगी. एक structure बनाना पड़ेगा. I don't think it will take more than a month. एक छोटा सा structure.
That's what I'm asking. Are you sure about it?
I'm very sure about it. I'm very confident on this.
So taking the permissions from BET and making the structure would take just 1 minute, 1 month.
Wait. I'll just have to explain one thing. Taking the permissions from BET, bringing water there, bringing electricity there. These are what major hurdles are right now. ये चीज मैं फोकस करूंगा कि स्टार्टिंग से ही पूरा होने लगता है कि BET से कैसे देना है, EMU से कैसे कोलैबोरेट करना है वहां तक पानी लाने के लिए, वहां तक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लाने के लिए. इस पे काम अभी से स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. Why are you thinking कि ये ऑफलाइन जाके ही स्टार्ट हो सकता है परमिशन लेने वाला काम? We can take permissions right now.
Are you really this optimistic? And if you say yes, I don't really know.
I am very optimistic on my manifesto points. You cannot undermine my manifesto points. You don't have to tell me कि मेरे manifesto points कैसे होंगे. I have written those. I have had my fair part of research on that. I have talked to a lot of people on this, and I'm very confident.
Yeah, we get that.
I'll do that.
ठीक है. I think that the GBM has understood your research and how you made your manifesto by now, because we have discussed that in length. But moving forward, Harsh, you can go ahead with your time. Shukla, you can go ahead with your time.
Yep. If you could present my manifesto, that would be great. All right. So campus reopening and COVID tackling would be the first priority. So I'd go with priorities first. Also, you pointed out that a lot of manifesto points won't be feasible if it is online. So I would like to point out that 8 out of 10 manifesto points would still be done if the campus is online. However, I'm very sure that I would be able to reopen campus within the next semester as safely as possible. Moreover, the first point of order is the campus reopening. Then continuously, I, with my team, the union team, the batch representative, I would also induct a core committee and an executive committee. All of us would work towards the other initiatives in the order like in academic initiatives would be done. The impartus would be done the moment we're on campus. We have gotten permission from Suresh Gupta from that. Moreover, could you go down a bit? Sure. So, firstly, is the campus reopening and tackling COVID-19. Then I'd work on increasing student representation in decision-making bodies. Moreover, when we get to campus, public transport and food delivery would be an important option. We'll also simultaneously work on improving the research culture through fostering research cultures through the publication of a bit-specific journal. Rejuvenating campus culture could also be an online event, which work could start as soon as possible. So giving you an exact timeline. So all of this would take logistics. All of this would take a lot of effort from my side and from the union side as well. And we could provide you with a much detailed timeline after we have tackled each of this issue in power. Moreover, if I had to summarize my manifesto, it would be to increase utilities for students on campus, as well as a lot of initiatives which could be implemented in the meanwhile till we get on campus. Like around 8 out of 10 initiatives are specified for the online semester. The two initiatives which are for the offline are the delivery service, food delivery service, and the e-cycles and e-rickshaws thing. So again, I stand for more student representation. I stand for better services for the students. I stand for more stake in every crucial decision that the campus takes, and my entire manifesto revolves around that.
Okay, thank you, Shukla. So I think that where we basically saw the manifesto points and how the proofs were presented in front of you, the limited proofs I would put it, but whatever. And okay. And basically, a lot of the explanations that were given basically went along the lines was, yes, I will get it done. Yes, I will get it done. Which brings us to the point of your previous tenure in the AC. And very specifically, I won't beat around the bush. I'll go to the point. You guys had to hold one GBM meet. And you guys held only one GBM meet despite repeated reminders from people from the GBM, people from the EC. And this is for the GBM to the extent that GBM members were texting the EC telling, please karwao GBM meet, please talk to the AC. They're not listening to us. You are the EC, so they might listen to you. At which point, I texted both Lamba and Shukla asking them ki kyun nahi ho raha? To which their response was, "Arey seniors maan nahi rahe." Now, context: AC was an organization which was made without any hierarchy in place, and all members were had equal amount of power. And we have two people here who could not convince their seniors to hold a meet in time. Who is going to convince the entire administration to implement the manifesto points, and who's going, according to Shukla, is going to convince the administration that he's going to increase student representation in the said bodies, for which no proof was presented. But yes, given this precedent that you've been talking about and the precedent that you set with AC, especially in the first 3 months, like your clear grade, etc., we have heard it multiple times, and I'm pretty sure the GBM is familiar with it. But with respect to this particular thing, you couldn't convince two seniors to hold a meet. How are you going to convince the institute for the rest of it?
It's not two seniors, it's actually 4 seniors. And we have tried multiple times. We stand for more accountability. We wanted to get the message across to the public. We requested multiple times for a GBM meet, and finally, after a lot of efforts, just one was conducted, and that is the sad state of affairs that the AC was in. And I think somewhere, do not take it as an offense, the EC is to blame for it as well. The EC did not do its part last year in conducting elections. If elections had been conducted, if the students' voice had been heard last year, there would have been better candidates, there would have been a better acting council which would have had 4 GBM meets or a lot of work done. I think the EC is to take the blame for it, that you didn't hear the voice of the 2018 batch. You didn't let anyone contest there. You organized a batch rep elections, then cancelled it out, zeroing out all the efforts that the candidates had put. And I think I redirect this question to you: why weren't elections conducted last year if the conditions were safe?
Okay, fun, cool. Why weren't elections conducted last year? I think this is like evident to everybody about why it wasn't. We provided the same.
Could you state the obvious?
Listen. Let me complete. Like, okay, and EC didn't conduct elections last year. We're like, cool. Everybody knows that. There's nothing new over here.
Why
it didn't conduct online, and people kept expecting to go offline, and they were like, the minute we land on campus, we'll like conduct elections first.
We are still expecting
people were planning to go back in October. Then they were planning to go back in January.
1 year back.
Listen,
they are exactly the same.
Listen. Okay, that we had where the acting council called us and told repeatedly, "Arey, election mat karo." This I think was brought up last time also, whether particular batches should be allowed to vote was a question. And also, I think at one point, internal elections within the AC were suggested by the AC, telling that conduct internal elections and make a and like GenSec, which was all points telling that at that point, particular logistical issues existed because of which elections were not conducted. Apart from that, like the question still comes back to you regarding your performance in the AC and what exactly, why exactly you couldn't, 4 seniors, 2 seniors, doesn't matter. You couldn't convince seniors for a meet. The fact stays at that. Don't try to redirect it to why elections are conducted. Even if elections are conducted, not conducted.
Just one thing. At that time, even after those repeated conversations, it was I who managed to find a platform to conduct that AC GBM meet, which was the work of EC. I texted you that you have to make the minutes of the meets of.
1 second. Are you telling that the AC GBM meet has to be conducted by an EC by EC?
It is generally being moderated by. It should
it
have
is not
been moderated
by EC. It is supposed to be conducted.
How many GBMs do you have experience of which you're flaunting of right now?
Fine. It's no point quarreling. It's just like cool. we appreciate EC a lot for conducting elections beautifully this year. We just had questions and we understand there might have been logistical issues. But again, the point that you had that EC, why were the seniors inactive? That was because they weren't following the people's mandate because they weren't elected. That's the point. We are not accusing EC of anything. The EC has done a good job.
That's not the problem. The question is why couldn't you two hold a meet? At least your own batch. 2019
I let the GBM decide that 2 2019 batch students against the president, the general secretary, and 2 students which are in the 2018 batch. So we tried our best. That's all we can say. We tried our best.
Again, you guys are batch representatives, and we see no reason why.
On the SU official group, we had repetitive quarrelings there. We wanted to conduct this AC GBM meet. If you remember our conversation, it was we who pushed for it.
Yeah, I remember you pushing for it, but the fact still remains that you took a great time to conduct it.
It was we who told you.
What you just said, let me complete.
Listen, I listened to this point. It was us who told you that this ACGBM needs to be conducted. We want to tell people exactly chal kya raha hai, and that's why we asked you.
ठीक है. Okay, the GBM has heard what they want to say, but coming back to what you just said, so you couldn't convince Pres GenSec and you couldn't convince 2 seniors, but now let's go forward. In the previous 2 hours, 3 hours that we have spoken, you're going to convince the director, you're going to convince AUGSD.
We have precedent to show for it. We have convinced them for clear, we have convinced them for PS reduction, we have convinced them for numerous
president. We'll be in the position of general secretary and president, and it gives some backing, it gives some weight to your voice when you are the president and general secretary.
What I'm seeing here is that EC is undermining the position of the president and general secretary by saying that
we are not undermining
the students. We have 5,000 students, the unity of students behind us, and you are undermining the post by saying that how can we get
right now,
we are not undermining, we are asking you.
If this was the case,
we weren't able to do it.
Received that 11K scholarship? How would we have received clear grade?
We are not denying anything that you did. We are not denying anything that you did. We are asking in the future what you are going to do when Like
we'll do the same that we have done in the past. That is all we have to do.
एक और चीज precedent है. There is like if you're talking about precedents, yeah, for holding meets also you guys had precedents and you couldn't hold a meet, right? Like UC's always held meets with the GBM and like there was
We've
a precedent
already confronted that point. It is you that didn't confront.
Yeah, right. Dude, yeah, all these years,
skirted
EC
around
is
the
the
fact
one
that
who's
you
been,
didn't conduct elections last year, which
okay.
led to such people
I
in
request the GBM to take a note. I request the GBM to take a note. At all these years, it was EC who was calling UC meets, or it was EC's job to call an AC GBM meet. When EC's job was only to make
It
like
wasn't
an AC
EC's
and
job,
like,
it was our job. We were very dedicated towards it, but when we couldn't
I think
win over
Arya
the
Didi, you might
players,
also know that
he
it
asked
was
me.
us that pushed every time. We have had normal friendly conversations over WhatsApp as well, where we told numerous times
all of these-
about the frustration of not being able to do the work that we wanted to do because of such friction in the committee.
We had
Yeah,
debates,
my
had
point
debates,
is,
Arya.
you
We have had
can
debates
go on
about
and
our
on.
hearts.
On and on for another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours,
ठीक
maybe
है.
even
And
more.
I think, yeah,
I
this
think
is
we
the
can.
Again, we won't go for the next 2 or 3 hours. I would
We
just
can-
like a specific answer, not a skirting around answer, a specific answer to the question why weren't elections conducted last year, which led to such an AC, which was lazy
That is
enough
not the
not
subject
even
of
to
this
conduct.
Okay, cool. Like blame it on elections and blame it on whatever you want to.
You're still stuck.
Yeah,
You're not the
You're
ones
still stuck.
You are
contesting
still
for
not answering
elections,
the
and I
question.
think
You are
GBM
just
can.
deviating the question, Arya. You're
Okay,
just
fine.
deviating the question.
I just spent like the last few minutes addressing why elections are not held. Not
You're
my
not
problem if
audible.
you didn't listen to it.
We
Yeah,
didn't
clearly
hear
you
it.
didn't
You're
listen
just
to
saying
it.
you addressed it. The GBM didn't hear it.
That's up to the
You're not the
GBM to
GBM.
decide.
That's up to the
GBM to decide. ठीक है.
Yeah,
And
Shukla, you're not the
like,
GBM to decide. So, okay, I think we can draw a
okay,
line
and
over
we
here.
have a couple of more questions from the GBM, like other concerns that were not addressed in your manifestos that they want you to address. ये cheating के बारे में क्या करने वाले हो?
So cheating is obviously a wrong thing, and we would push AOGSD for making a more robust software. I don't know how AOGSD think Metal is a robust software. We'll push them to implement more solutions which would stop cheating.
Right now, the system is कि students have no option rather than demeaning the having their CGPA drop than cheating. So एक system बनाना चाहिए कि AUGST should look for a better robust system. AUGST should look for a really robust system, not only as they have stated कि Metal is a robust system, which is really not. They should look for other systems, other online.
So all in all, we are against cheating. We are looking for better avenues. We will be talking to AUGST to
Okay,
curb
I
cheating.
think
All in all.
cool. Whoever asked it from the GBM can make a note, which kind of summarizes questions from the GBM regarding manifestos, etc. So you guys can take before you guys conclude, GBM can note that these were the various manifesto points that the candidates had proposed. For which, of course, the finances, etc., were presented before you, proofs were presented before you, and in cases where proofs were not there, they were very determined that they would achieve these things despite given the precedent that they had set. And okay, so that pretty much summarizes their case and what you would like to, and we request the GBM to make a wise decision while taking a vote. We give the candidates each a minute to conclude.
Sure. Should I? Lamba, please go first.
Yeah, they go first.
So it's my humble request to everyone to read all my manifesto points, read everyone's manifesto points for that fact, because manifesto points are the things we are promising to you. GBM knows what you want, what you should be promised. Go through manifesto points, go through SOPs, go through past initiatives of all the candidates, not only presidential or GenSec candidates, for your batch representative candidates too. We want such people in SU who can present your voices in front of administration, who can really represent you, who can understand your problems, who can give implementable solutions. Just don't vote on the basis of friendship. Check कि ये candidate सच में capable है या नहीं है. Will he be able to represent your voices? Will he be able to do the work he's promising? And then vote. This should be in your mind when you are voting on 18th of July. You should not keep any friendships, any kind of past associations with anyone while voting. Just be very clear while you are voting कि तुम्हें क्या चाहिए and what exactly the candidate is promising you are voting for. Thank you.
Sure, I'll go next. So, firstly, on a lighter note, I would like to appreciate the panel in the job they've done in this audit debate. Their job was to grill us enough so that everything becomes clear to the GBM, and I believe it has. Now, the GBM also is, I believe, grateful to the panel for the job that it's done. Moreover, thank you for the members of the GBM who've stayed here this long to hear the 3-hour long debate. So, as my concluding statement, I just want to say that numerous times in the past we have been scene zoned by the administration. We have been made to think that our voices do not matter, made to silently take whatever decision is imposed on us. But not anymore. It is time to take back the power. And we, the students who are the prime stakeholders in the college, should take back the power. And I would fight for our voices to thunder across the highest rungs of power. I have the highest union experience on campus. I have 25 plus initiatives, including the very useful clear grade, including PS fees reduction, including very recent initiatives such as some small initiatives such as trunk service, which helped students pack their belongings from campus. 25 plus such initiatives. So I would ask the GBM to vote for experience, to vote for expertise, to vote for our shared dream. And let's change the way we've been treated in the past. Let's change the way in which our cries have been ignored. Let's change the authoritarianism in the administration. Let's change BITS Pilani for the better. Long live student unity. Long live BITS Pilani. Thank you.
Okay, so I think with that we conclude the debate. We request the GBM to make sure that they've installed their Microsoft accounts. Tomorrow there'll be a mock debate, and where if any problems arise, immediately contact the EC, or if
Mock election.
the IPC mock election. Sorry, my bad. Okay, a mock election, and yeah, if any problems arise, kindly contact the EC, or you can directly contact the IPC for like any credential problem, etc. So make sure that you check that everything for the actual debate, as on Sunday, if any problems arise, it would be difficult to handle. So that is like one note that I would definitely like to make. Apart from that, yes, choose like wisely, make informed decisions. As of right now, like campaigning period has ended, and no more campaigning shall continue until polling. Uh, so I think with that we conclude this. We thank everyone. I thank Vishwajit, Anshu, Sabya, who are here as a part of the panel. I thank my fellow EC members. Elections. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I am so sorry. It's 9, but yeah. I thank my fellow EC members, and with that, I think we conclude this meet and we can stop. Thank you.
Thank you so